Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Brad Ellis.
Hi.
Michael Huber.
Hello.
And my co-op wife and co-moderator, Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
Whether the couple in It Takes Two stays together at the end of that game or not, Blood and I
Don't
are sadly
spoil it.
breaking up in like 1 to 2 weeks. We don't know. We don't know.
No idea.
We'll see. Distinguished guests, we are here to talk about some of the biggest events in the world of video games. But before we do that, we must first answer for all of the mistakes that we made last week. Bloodworth, begin corrections music, please. Boop. Gotta back me up, Huber. It was Jim Caviezel in Frequency, not Billy Crudup. Not Billy Crudup at all.
You
Jim
said
Caviezel.
Billy Crudup?
I did say Billy Crudup.
Because I knew it was Caviezel. I
was
knew it. I must
completely
have missed
wrong.
you saying that.
I'm happy I came up with the name, though. It's like, it's be one thing. I would rather get a name wrong and then think of an actor's name that does kind of look like he fits the role, rather than
Sure.
being like, I don't know who's in that movie. I just remember it had to do with time travel. The Famicom Detective Club remakes were announced for Japan in September 2019, so they didn't entirely, quote-unquote, come out of nowhere. Rune Factory 5 releasing on May 20th is Japan only. We went through Pop-Tarts and Toaster Strudels. The worldwide release is still unknown. Every time we do Pop-Tarts and Toaster Strudels, a Japanese game slips in there. Scarlet Nexus was never delayed, Damiani. It was announced as coming in 2021. Then it said summer 2021, and then June 25th. So they stuck the landing. In Assassin's Creed Unity's E3 2014 co-op demo, the noble that the players are hunting gets his head chopped off and placed on a pike at the end. That whole sequence is viewed from said noble's perspective in first person. Number one.
Cool.
Number two, in Bill and Ted 2, you see through the perspective of Robot Bill when I believe there's basketball involved. I just watched it again before 3.
Yes.
And I think he dunks his head in the trash can and he's like looking up from the trash can. And apparently, I haven't seen this film, in Apocalypto. There's a similar scene.
The down the stairs, dude.
That is as much as I know about it as well.
Wait, you haven't seen Apocalypto?
I've not seen Apocalypto. I've never made the time.
Dude. Dude.
Yeah, my brother's ahead of you in line. My brother keeps, slugging me in the arm to see that film. I've just put it up. It's too many movies. Too many games.
Fair.
And it is Cacophonix. Cacophonix.
Got it.
Cacophony. End corrections music, please. A lot of news. Big week. A lot of stuff to talk about. I'd like to start it on a happy note, though, with a silver lining, something we can be excited about. This one's tech-focused. Not all of these involve big donations or, new companies being started. From Alexander Zarianov, last week, Epic Games released a detailed technical report on the April 6th incident. Anybody?
Incident?
Anybody remember something going down on April 6th?
No.
That caused
weeks ago.
widespread unavailability of various Epic services. If you work in a relevant industry, detailed reports like this are very useful because they allow you to learn from others' mistakes. Unfortunately, such publications are rare because they require significant input from technical engineers and the security team, who often don't have time to collaborate with the PR department. So, kudos to Epic Games for making the effort to share what they've learned during this incident with the rest of the world. Curious if y'all can think of an example of transparency like that, when companies are like, well, that sucked, but here's how it happened. If you're curious to know. I remember when higher-ups at Viacom and stuff would always get upset when there were security issues at game trailers, but our coders were like, you try to stop that stuff from happening. Good luck. There's always going to be server issues or whatever. So
I don't remember any of that, but
yeah,
it was low on the totem pole when that stuff was going on.
I would love when game trailers would get hacked and the execs would be freaking out and our tech guys would be like, it's like, they'll never do it again. I know how they did it. I can cut that off, but I can never guarantee that the site's not going to get hacked. People just have to have the nerve to do it. Brad Ellis, who's Jeff Kaplan?
Jeff Kaplan was a veteran Blizzard employee who I believe started off as a World of Warcraft designer in, I think 2002. And he was on the WoW team for a long time.
Warcraft 3.
Then I think 2016 he moved on to the Titan team, which, eventually turned to Overwatch, and he had been the face of Overwatch ever since.
The face of Overwatch is a very interesting
That's a good
description,
way.
an
Yeah.
apt description. It kind of reminds me, it's like a Resi Fils-Aimé situation where it's like,
Yeah, he was.
oh, that guy, we see him all over the place. Which actually we can jump to that. So Jeff Kaplan for 19 years at Blizzard. There's actually a very effective bio there. Thank you, Brad. gave a very short note. The person filling in from Aaron Keller, who is 18 years at Blizzard, will take over Overwatch's director as assistant director on the game, wrote a huge blog post, and then at the end, Kaplan's just like, "Yeah, I'm out. Bye." Like, wait, what? Like,
I love it. Yeah.
no reason for
GG.
leaving. No new projects he's working on. No new companies he's going to. Just out. But you saying that he was the face of Overwatch made me think of Nintendo, because Bowser took over, and I don't know if it's right to assume that Aaron Keller or Doug Bowser are somehow responsible for being on camera as much as their predecessor. Would it seem weird for you not to see Aaron Keller get on camera to talk a lot about Overwatch, especially with the sequel coming out?
I don't know. It kind of feels like a lot of Blizzard games, they always have kind of like a face associated with like a lot of these games. So, and it's like Jeff has been like super prominent out there, like doing memes and everything. So he's become really beloved. That I could see him being on stage, Jones, and like quote unquote being the face, but I don't see him trying to be like Jeff Kaplan, and I don't think he should try to be like Jeff Kaplan. He should do his own thing.
I mean, his note even said as much. Like, I'm not gonna be him.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm gonna do the best I can.
He's gotta do his own thing. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll see, Jones.
What do you think? Huber reminds me of who's your For Honor guy? I wonder, like, what your relationship. Yeah, I wonder what your relationship with For Honor would have been had there not been a Vandenberg. Had there just been a game that you were interested in. Like, do you think games?
He left not too long after that came out.
Right.
Yeah, full-on documentary. Can watch that.
So, do you think games benefit from having a personality so linked to this? What if you run into even before launch, you run into a Ghostwire situation where they're gone? This person that we've met, that's involved with this game that we fall in love with, that kind of in our mind becomes connected to it, and then when they're gone, it kind of puts it up in the air in terms of, well, what do I think about this game now?
I think it matters to a degree, definitely a case-to-case basis. Like, you need that leadership role. You need that person with a vision. You need that person to bring everyone together. That really matters. Like, a lot of Blizzard has left over the years, and I'm not alone in saying that my excitement and my love for the company as a whole has gone down significantly over the last many years. And this is a crushing blow, I feel like, to old Blizzard. It's always good to get new blood in there and new eyes and fresh perspectives and fresh takes, but it's kind of a weird point in Blizzard right now because, they have Diablo that's been taken a while. They canceled Titan. A lot of people left. Overwatch 2 is seemingly still coming. But I think there's just a lot of questions right now, so it hurts even more.
Well, yeah, it's interesting here because, I saw obviously a lot of people talking about, old guard leaving and, and then I saw somebody that's also been there for a long time. It's like, hey, there's a lot of us left here, but like you're saying, it's maybe not the faces that people are familiar with.
Totally.
And I know that's true to some degree, even, at Rare as well, that like there's still people that have been there since, the 90s and such. So
yeah, I think with just Blizzard though, it's a little more noticeable because all those people left and like Dreamhaven was born from a lot of them. A guy, David Kim, just left who had been at Blizzard for a while. He was on was part of StarCraft 2, Huber, during Wings of Liberty area. Then he was on Diablo 4, then WoW, then he left. It's just like kind of one after another.
One of the OG Diablo guys is helping with Path of Exile at one point, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about the OG Diablo people.
Brad, it's pretty funny to see that Kaplan left World of Warcraft after Lich King, which a lot of people think is the culmination and the high point of World of Warcraft. He was on, WoW, Burning Crusade, and Lich King, and then he bounced to go to Titan. And it's like, WoW has never been the same after Lich King. Like, that to me was the culmination. And then ever since then, it's been different.
Well,
it's tough
for
to
many
tell the
reasons,
difference.
But it is funny to see that timeline add up.
Ahead of time, Huber, it's near impossible to tell the difference between like negative change and just change. It's just a good time to Cataclysm was also fun. You got to fly in Outland. It was great. It's like so it just depends on like the perspective that you have, and it's tough when 19 years. When somebody just up and leaves, when you get a sense of like, was it time for them to go? Could things get better potentially? I don't know. But I did see that a sentiment. I wanted to bring that up, Led, from people that were still at the company. Like, I'm still here.
Yeah, there's people there doing good work still.
Yeah.
But, when you get stuff like Warcraft 3 Reforged, it's just like a disaster.
Yeah, that too. That slipped my mind, Brad.
And
Yes, and Diablo Mobile, and just like kind of all these hits, people leaving, games getting delayed, them giving the fans not really what they want. Like
Chris Metzen left. Like a lot of these people left to do their own kind of thing, which is fine. But yeah, it's just kind of bums me out a little.
I sadly have a lot of predictable headlines this week. Major executive leaves Blizzard. Sony goes back on something they promised. A lot of video games were sold in March. Amazon canceled a thing. Sorry, that's just kind of where we're at. Yeah, it's interesting to see somebody that has a lot of personality associated with the game and how we directly attach that to game development. It was interesting for me as a giant Rockstar fan, when Hauser left, and me being like, I don't know, I can't really tell you what he does. Like, I know what I like, but I don't know what he's necessarily attached to. It's just change is tough, and Blizzard's in a tough spot.
Like I think of movies all the time, Jones, and franchises. I think of like love him or hate him. I think of James Cameron working on Terminator 1 and 2 and then kind of hands off, and look what happened to that franchise. Or like, Alien to a degree, or just like Pacific Rim. You got Guillermo del Toro working on it, and then it's not Guillermo del Toro. So like, creators matter. It is a collaborative effort. There is obviously so many people who make every game. Not every game. Some solo efforts out there, but you know what I'm saying. But leadership and creativity in individuals matter.
I think it's just the Activision, kind of creeping in more and more with Blizzard.
Sure.
And we're kind of seeing it happening.
Which you can predict, but how do how do we know at the end of the day? But here's the Post-it note pinned to the door of Jeff Kaplan when people showed up at his office and he was not there. It was not an actual Post-it note. This could fit on one, though. I am leaving Blizzard Entertainment after 19 amazing years. It was truly the honor of a lifetime to have the opportunity to create worlds and heroes for such a passionate audience. I want to express my deep appreciation to everyone at Blizzard who supported our games, our game teams, and our players, but I want to say special thanks to the wonderful game developers that shared in the journey of creation with me. Never accept the world as it appears to be. Always dare to see it for what it could be. I hope you do the same. GG, Jeffrey Kaplan.
That's an Overwatch quote.
Oh, damn. I thought he was teasing. I thought that was him. That's why he's leaving, because he can't accept the world of Blizzard as he sees it for what it could be. Okay.
I mean, it's so hard to, like, when you talk about, why somebody leaves, it's like it's so sometimes you never find out. Sometimes you find out like a year or two later. Like, it just, like you go back to Ghostwire. We're talking about that, right? And it's like, she had a kid not long after that.
Oh, okay.
She is also dealing with like a lot of stress of leading a huge team, and now she's all right. Let's start a new team, do something smaller, and get people from all over the world together. But it's still something that's not quite as stressful as leading a giant AAA franchise while having a kid.
I had a kid try to leave my job. Couldn't. What's really boss though, Brad and Huber? And I'm curious to get the take on what this means. Just the whole case. This is actually a peeve of mine, but it's just it's not the hill I'm willing to die on. That paragraph I just read to you, written by Jeffrey Kaplan, all lowercase.
Yeah,
he's out
except
of
I
the
think
company.
the Blizzard Entertainment is caps maybe, but I think everything else is lower caps.
Yes, the B in Blizzard and the E in Entertainment. When he brought up Blizzard again later, lowercase, but it was just Blizzard Entertainment. That is awesome. I do love that. He's so cozy. What do you think about Blood? You like to edit. You go through all of our horrible language when you edit our scripts. What's your take on lowercase on anybody? If somebody sends you a message, an email that's in all lowercase, does it change your vibe of a little bit, or do you just whatever? It's just words are words.
Honestly, like if it comes from like a business account, it does make me a little suspicious. These guys, like, whatever they're offering, it might be a bit sketch. Yeah. But it depends, it's like if I know the person, then like I don't care.
I think it was Kotaku called it a power move. They were just like proving his, I do what I want. And it wasn't even, it was like tagged on. At the end of it, they were like, oh, by the way, here's a couple words from Jeff too. The focus of the blog post was Aaron Keller, who dropped this. Speaking of Overwatch 2, development is continuing at a good pace. We have an exceptional vision we're executing on. The reaction from many of you to the updates we shared at BlizzCon line thrilled us, and we have exciting reveals planned for this year and beyond as we ramp up to launch. We'll be sharing more frequent updates about Overwatch 2 progress and new features in the live game with you all very soon. They said it's not coming out in 2021. Brad, how excited are you for the reveals they have planned for 2021 with the game not coming out this year?
Decently excited, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I'll get excited until I actually start playing it.
Do you think Overwatch 2 is something you're going to be dialed in on, or do you need to be convinced?
For a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe for a little bit. I don't play like many multiplayer games in general that long though.
There's been an epic trilogy afoot in this industry. First, an outlet reported that maybe, just maybe, the PSP, Vita, and PlayStation 3 stores would be closing down. And then the following week in the Easy Allies podcast, we said, yes, Sony has confirmed that. And then here, The Return of the King, Part 3. Never mind. Jim Ryan on the PlayStation blog said this week, recently we notified players that the PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita devices were planned to end this summer. Upon further reflection, however, it's clear that we made the wrong decision here. So today I'm happy to say that we will be keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices. PSP commerce functionality will retire on June 2nd, 2021 as planned. When we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for PS3 and PS Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices where a majority of our gamers are playing on. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future. So I'm glad we're able to find a solution to continue operations. I'm glad that we can keep this piece of our history alive for gamers to enjoy while we continue to create cutting-edge new game worlds for PS4, PS5, and the next generation of VR. Thank you for sharing the feedback with us. We're always listening and appreciate the support from our PlayStation community. Yeah, this didn't get canceled. This got delayed. Foreseeable future. Was that a year?
Well, I mean,
can't
they
keep
have
it up
to end it
forever.
eventually, yeah. But
I mean, hopefully there's a transition in place in the future to like PS5, but
yeah,
probably
That's
not.
what they need to figure out.
maybe not. Yeah.
the funny
I mean,
thing, like you're saying, Jones, like the way it's worded, like upon reflection, as if he was just like, having his morning cup of coffee, and he's like, you know what, we shouldn't have done that.
They burned some incense.
Completely
It's just like,
detached from what anyone said to him. He just decided it was a bad idea.
What was the driving factor here? Was it everybody complaining? Was it people
course,
buying a ton of
yes.
PlayStation games? Was it the sales,
both.
though?
Yeah, it was all
Probably both. Probably both.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of both. There's definitely some panic buying that was going on there.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But didn't that start when the first headline came out? I guess they already had the blog post written, so they were ready to go. I just like, why not pump the brakes when news gets out and people already start freaking?
I mean, I think they would expect it to some degree. It's just a volume thing. It's just how much feedback they get. Like, they're going to know people are going to say something about it. There's going to always be that faction. But then when it becomes like giant headlines and gets wrapped into this narrative of, Sony going in the wrong direction and, the stuff people were talking about in comparison to what Xbox is doing with the backwards compatibility issues, not issues, but initiatives. So yeah, I think that, all that stuff went beyond the expected level of that response.
Yeah, when you're dealing with something this big, this much money, this level of business, this big of company, Sony, I imagine things of this nature take long to pivot and course correct. So I bet right when those headlines came out, people were calling, people were meeting, yo, is this bad? Is this good? Should we still do this? So I imagine that took a while to get all those logistics fixed.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem as easy as like flipping a button. Oh, psych, no, we're not.
The other thing that kind of
People need, it just seems like people need to be, like, all the board members need to be aware of everything. Like, it seems like there's a lot of backdoor shady deals going on with all this.
Yeah, I think the other thing that stands out to me, too, is it almost, to some degree, still seems like he doesn't quite get it, because he's like, oh, there's still a lot of people that want to buy things on these old machines. It's like, no, there's no other way to buy them. that's the problem.
Yeah.
That you won't be able to get
preference.
these games anywhere else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Director's Cut. Straight
If
up.
you make those games available on newer devices, people will be like, see a PS3. The Vita's a little different, like, because there's not a new Vita, but But yeah, I'm sure like a lot of people would be fine without being able to purchase things on the PS3 if they could purchase the same things on the PS4 and the PS5.
Exactly.
Because, like, man, some rare games are going away. Like, Suikoden 2 would have been just, like, gone. And that's an expensive-ass game, usually. Just losing a lot of sweet games, man.
Oh, yeah, a lot of PS3 games. All the Ratchets, all the Resistances, all the Infamouses. Like, come on. Metal Solid 4.
I saw some people at Insomniac joke because they were like, do I own that Ratchet game? They're like, I don't even think I have a copy of that. You know, like people at the developer were like, damn, you know, like I'm going to lose access to this game I worked on. What's going on, man? What is it with these let's see how pissed our fans get announcements? Like, what? It seems like a weird trend in the last year of like, we're going to do this. Like, you're doing what? Like, we're not going to do that. It's like, how do you, like, when the planning happens, when they get, what you were saying, Huber, when they get everybody in the room, they get all the executives together, do they have this? They're like, now there's a chance this could absolutely make our community livid, at which point we just won't do it. Like, is that the whole mindset?
Yeah, seriously, Jones. Great question. Like,
it's so
once again, you need that leadership person who is like, yo, everyone, this is not a good idea because these games are really rare and only available here. Like, it would take one human with any finger on the pulse to the community to know that that was a bad idea to begin with. So it's really awesome that they are listening and that this was reversed quickly enough, but it's also kind of alarming that it was even going to be shut down to begin with, because maybe they're more out of touch than I thought.
And all of this, we love backwards compatibility talk, wasn't at all in their announcement. You know, they were like, we understand this is frustrating for those communities, but it's a decision we have to make from a financial standpoint. Just like, now screw these stores. And then they're like, oh, you guys bought PS3s? Like, what? It's very odd. I'm just scratching my head all day. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, and he alludes to it into this statement, right? Like, there is a technical challenge in terms of, you know, like...
Yeah, there's probably a cost, right, Blood, to keep it up and running?
Yeah, well, not just the cost, but, like, you know, payment systems evolve and banking and all that stuff. And so, like, having those old devices continue to talk to everything, you know, and stay secure. I'm sure there's challenges there, and as well as... you know, just the way that even the servers and stuff have to be engineered and without like completely overhauling, you know, how those file databases and everything work. It's just, again, I hope that it hasn't just lit a fire under them to delay, to push this back, but to lit a fire under them like, okay, what is our actual long-term solution?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do when we actually do shut this stuff down?
Lit a fire under PS3 and Vita owners going to buy games. I will put my chips on the table that it was just sales. That there was some guy at Sony who was like, hey, Jim, I will bet you $500 that you will sell this many PS3 games after you make this announcement. He's like, no one's going to go buy PS3 games.
Yeah.
We're 2 consoles past it. We're remaking Last of Us. Nobody cares about that. And then he came into his office 3 days later and was like, told you, like okay.
The crap with the Vita, though, remember, like, the developers are just canceling games. Like, those games get uncanceled now because they weren't going to be done before the Vita store closed.
So, the whole sentiment thing, I don't know if I buy, because it's like you say, like, people are saying Sony's not on the right course. It's like, that's Twitter. I read that every day. Nintendo's not doing everything wrong. Sony's doing everything right. It's like, what specifically happened? It's just strange. It seems like they're doing all of the, which is terrible. As brand manager, I should forget this, but like, what is it? You get everybody together in a room and do you like this toothbrush? Do you like this commercial? Would you put your kid on this tricycle?
Yeah.
What are these called? You screen your products. You bring people in, you show them, you know, before you launch.
Focus testing.
Focus testing. Yeah. There it is. Thank God.
Nice play. That would have bugged me.
It's like they're doing their focus testing with the official launch. You know, they're like, we'll see how it goes. You know, that seems to be the whole, and I mean, from where I am, they're doing okay. Like, I don't know how mad people are at Sony now if they can still get access to these stores, you know, pour one out for the PSP market, but I think
the PSP is already partially shut down, so like that makes a little bit more sense.
At the end of the day, a bunch of people ran out and bought PS3 and Vita games they weren't planning on buying. So it's like, I don't know, did they plan this?
Yeah.
What a weird situation.
I don't think it's as bad as Xbox Live trying to double the price.
Right. That one's not it. Yeah.
Bigger example, to me.
That one I can see that one I'm actually surprised they went back on, because I was like, okay, this seems like they know what the issue is here. They're just financially looking at their books and making the tough call. And they were like, whoops. Our consumers don't want to spend more money. Again, it's strange obvious lessons being learned the hard way. Ian Alexander on Patreon asks, do you think they were unaware of our interest in older games because a lot of us are just waiting and hoping for remasters? I'm wondering if we would be more likely to get that RE123 Classic bundle if we all went to PSN and bought those PS1 Classics right now. What should we do? Are we not spending enough money on these classic games?
I think they were unaware. I think it was just so business focused. There was no thought of the player who was like, yo, those old games, like, I want to be able to preserve those, I want to play those. I think they just looked at a spreadsheet like, oh, the PS3 and the Vita store have not really sold anything in the last year, shut it down.
Yeah.
Then when they did, they saw the sales like spike and maybe like, oh, okay, bad idea. But yeah, I think before the announcement, the sales must have just been low. So they wanted to just consolidate everything and move forward.
Well,
and
using the PS3 store is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to use that as much as I can.
Yeah, and they probably just weren't thinking about that next level of like people actually need, like, that's the only place to play a lot of those games. So they were probably just looking at the numbers.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think going again back to the game preservation issues and a lot of this stuff, and I always, my head always goes back to GoldenEye, right? The fact that you can't get GoldenEye legally, right?
Yeah.
And it's tied to this plastic box, and I don't know what it will take or if it's ever realistic, but like at some point it feels like the legal landscape has to change so that like a release of a video game isn't tied to a specific plastic box, because we know these things are going to become new boxes every 7 years or whatever, like, unless like cloud gaming suddenly gets so good that we never need another plastic box. But in general, it just feels like a dumb way to approach how video games are released, because a lot of these games, like, even if they can technically put them on a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, they've got to go through this whole, contract negotiation of, getting them over there, because now it's a new box.
What are you typing, Hubert? Were you just looking up GoldenEye on eBay? What's going on?
$25 for a copy of GoldenEye.
All right.
Surprising. I thought it'd be more, because like Blood's saying, it's the only way to play that game is the cartridge.
Yeah, frame rate in that game sucks though.
4-player frame rate.
Yeah.
Specifically.
See, but why else you can play that game? That's the campaign. Come on.
Number one party game, baby. You need 4 players.
What did that game reinvent? Shooter campaigns? No, it's couch co-op, man. Which is now basically defunct if you play. It's unplayable. Wins in GoldenEye 4-player? Worthless. Oculus had a gaming showcase. Yeah, which I feel like they've had before, but I guess they haven't, which is interesting. Oculus has been making games for a long time, releasing titles for their VR systems for a while. But this is the first official Oculus gaming showcase, coming in hot on the Easy Allies podcast.
Maybe in the past they've had showcases that were focused on the headsets, and then some games were sprinkled in, but this one doesn't have a new headset or anything, right? So maybe that's the distinction. It's
kind of one of the lessons we have all learned in the past 12 months. If you're a game developer, is got to have your own event now. You got to put it together. You got to obviously be in other people's events. You got to go the Oddworld route and try to get in every single one that you can. But you should probably have your own event too. Curious what their expectations were on this in terms of viewership of it, in terms of people talking about the individual games. 3 games I specifically want to talk about. The last one, of course, because I want to read a paragraph about Resident Evil 4 on Quest 2 with Michael Hubert in attendance.
Yeah.
But first,
I already read that stuff. It's so good.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, we'll read it again.
Some of it, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The answer is always no, you haven't read that, just in case you read. Carved Snowboarding from Giles Goddard, creator of 1080. Snowboarding VR game, which Blaise is not convinced. Snowboarding in VR.
Yo, what's it called?
Carved Snowboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, following the snow probably
my
isn't very
brother fucking loved 1080 snowboarding, dude. And I used to just watch his hands when he would do the 1080, because the combination of the 1080 is like blah 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 blah. It's like crazy.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's so intense. So 1080 snowboarding is near and dear to my heart. I gotta watch a trailer for this, Jones.
Like a guitarist, just staring at the chords.
But also, it's worth noting that Giles did a lot of stuff with Nintendo back in the day. Original Star Fox. He was, one of the heads of that team. Made the Mario face that you mess around with at the beginning of Mario 64.
Wait, he made that?
That's so cool,
Dude.
The
Legendary.
very first footage of Zelda 64 while it was prototyping.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Which just
Wow.
leaked, didn't that? Isn't that didn't some people get
No,
that?
no.
they
This
had-
was in Nintendo Power.
They had
and,
screenshots.
I thought there was
Yo,
some
this-
demo.
This looks cool. And you can pet a dog, and you have a hub in your cozy little cabin. I'm in. Carve snowboarding. Sign me up.
But
sorry.
I think though in terms of the snowboarding gameplay, I just feel like I associate it with a lot of flips and tricks and stuff, and I just don't I don't know how's your stomach gonna do if you want to do a flip.
Yeah, spinning around seems like maybe
Sure.
I won't be able to really fully play it. That seems like a sick waiting to happen.
Just let me shoot some guns where I'm comfortable. Lone Echo 2 launches this summer.
Oh yeah.
Some exciting updates there. I just want to point out that is the second. It is now officially, as of the end of last year, the second best VR game I've ever played. Sorry, Half-Life Alyx just edged it out just a tad. But Lone Echo 2, Lone Echo 1 is excellent. Echo Arena and all the Echo universe is very, very fun.
I'd still rather have Order 1887. Don't
Let's
at me.
jump. And if you, hey, I'm glad that you brought it up. Yeah, if you were wondering, that Order team, where'd they go? This is it. This is what's
where they're at,
bread
yeah.
and butter ever since. Have you played Lone Echo, Huber?
No, I
Then
bet
what-
it's freaking amazing.
What leg are you standing on right now? What are
No
you?
legs. Just the leg of Order deserved more. It deserved more. It was a smear campaign, dude. $60 for 4 hours. $60, dude. 4 hours. Cool movie, bro.
Can't skip cutscene.
Yeah, I refuse, dude. The Order 1886 hate. It was a witch hunt, dude. It's a freaking witch hunt. I will die on the Order 1886 hill forever. I'm sorry. I just will. I love that game.
Hubert,
I acknowledge its flaws, but I also acknowledge the potential for another crack at it.
the outbursts. You seem riled today, Hubert. You
Yeah,
seem
riled
aggressive.
I'm right. I'm ready.
I like
dude.
it.
Yeah.
Are you excited about Resident Evil 4? Because I don't want to bring this up. If this
Very
is gonna,
excited.
okay, here we go. Okay. Building off the core systems from the original and ratcheting up the suspense as only VR can, Resident Evil 4 on Quest 2 will let you play from Leon's first-person perspective. The touch controllers will let you interact with the world in a fundamentally new way from how it's played on console. Weapons and items have been re-engineered as physical objects you can pick up and interact with. You'll also be able to switch weapons by grabbing them off your body instead of going into a menu, which is always a little tricky in VR. That doesn't make me super excited reading that, but and you can wield separate weapons with each hand.
That's cool.
You know what excites me is sniping. I want to snipe in VR.
Sure,
dude.
yeah. It's a little rough putting a thing up to your head that's not there because you
Yeah.
expect the gun to be there. You expect the, when you look through through a scope, you feel the scope look on your eyes. So it's a little weird, but it is a trip. I do enjoy that. You'll still move in first person by using the analog stick, but Armature has added a full upper body rig on top of Leon's character to combine his movement with the dual-handed interactivity achieved with the touch controllers. They've even added support for teleportation and room scale movement, so you can explore the environment however you choose. With plenty of comfort options at your disposal, you can also play through the game comfortably while seated. Armature, and obviously for accessibility issues, Armature is using core elements from the original Resident Evil 4 to drive gameplay and systems, but they've remastered art. Over 4,500 textures have either been repainted or have had their resolution increased.
Some of those rocks
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
bad. Real bad. So definitely got to touch those up because I'm
I
looking
think
at
it's
that
smart.
rock.
I think it's smart, Hubert. I was kind of looking forward to looking at that bad rock.
I know, true. Totally.
There was a part of me that wanted to just be like, this rock is so bad. Character animations have been faithfully converted to Unreal Engine 4 and remain untouched from the original source material, and all cutscenes will be presented in their original format. curious how. I guess I've played games that have had cutscenes in them before, and you're just like, oh, I'm in a movie theater, okay.
Yeah.
And you just watch them that way, but that'll be weird.
Yeah, but it'll be if you watch them basically in 3D, so they'll still be kind of different feeling.
Maybe. I've seen games that cutscenes were in engine, but they were still just a movie. I don't know. Isn't that the case sometimes with remasters where there's like, if it's a PS1 game and they've done some like CG intro, they make the game looks a lot better now, but they can't redo the intro or whatever. So you get this weird grainy on a remaster.
Yeah, it's true. It depends on whether the cutscenes were
CG or in-game.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I feel like Resident Evil 4, they were all in-game. So they should be 3D models.
So the remaster, the cutscenes are remastered, but the DLC cutscenes, so if you play Separate Ways, Ada's campaign, her cutscenes are grody. They were not remastered.
Yeah.
They just recorded it?
Yeah.
Huh.
RE mastered. Comments really like how you skip the RE in RE verse. It's technically
Reverse.
RE verse. It's not reverse, it's RE verse.
I'm saying reverse forever.
Yes.
Don't at me.
No, I love it.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm loving you
Reverse.
for it. Running through some other quick games that were mentioned during this showcase. Pistol Whip Smoke and Thunder, a Wild West shooter.
Cool.
Which is also bringing with it some functionality of the previous game developed by that studio. Warhammer 40k Battle Sister, which is just one of the stack of Warhammer 40ks, showed off some co-op multiplayer features. I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Lair, one of the VR games you have probably heard about if you do not play VR, launches on Quest and Rift later this year. Quest 2 getting the hype for RE4, but that's coming to Rift as well. RE4 is not. It's just coming to Quest 2. After the Fall showed off some new gameplay, which is from the Arizona Sunshine folks.
It looks good. I'm just like always like whenever you're talking about multiplayer co-op VR, it's like that's a real small niche there.
Right.
Yeah.
It is mind-blowing how many times Arizona Sunshine has popped up when I open Steam. That game, more
fun.
than any other game ever, always pops up. And I've clicked it like 7 times. Because I always forget. I was like, oh, what is this? This looks cool. Oh, it's VR. Got it.
There's something really bland about Arizona Sunshine that I love because like for some reason when I get into like zombie movies and zombie video games and they get like too creative, I'm like, I don't know, there's so many zombie types and whatever. You just walk around a desert and you shoot zombies. There's like a little bit of plot, but that's all you do. And I was satisfied. I put those controllers down after like 3 or 4 hours, like perfect. After the Fall, very different though. I'm curious to see how that game wraps up. Interesting name. Wrath, the Oblivion, Afterlife. Wrath, semicolon.
This is the really freaky
dash,
horror one, right?
Afterlife. It is a horror game. I'm not sure the level of his freakiness. But horror games can be tough in VR. Just because, Resident Evil 7, love it. Not touching that game in VR too much. Somebody's got to grab you right in the first 30 minutes of Resident Evil 7. That's what I want. It's like, I don't want this. There's nothing I can do. I can't shove them away or whatever. This person's going to get right up in my face. The Climb 2 from Crytek got an update. And if you have an Oculus Quest 2 and you're just kind of wandering through the store, the Climb and the Climb 2 are absolutely necessary. Just because it's a perfect thing to just like give your friend and be like, haha, you're terrified. That's a fun... and that's Crytek. That's a very a solid team putting that stuff together. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, which I haven't gotten around to playing, got some updated details. Star Wars.
I heard that was good, Jones.
Yes, I've heard good things about it as well. And again, just shooting zombies in VR. Sign me up. Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge is getting a part 2. A lot of people offended. I haven't played the first one because of my affinity toward Disneyland, but it's kind of like I don't want to think about it. Like I don't want to. Why would I do that? Why would I bring myself so close, yet so far? And Star Wars Pinball VR launches next week. If you got the Oculus.
Somebody called Dawn. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're getting into that, man. They've got like they call it a fan cave. They can decorate with all these like Star Wars toys and stuff, and like mini games fighting Darth Vader very slowly. And
Brad, I really want to play Tales from the Galaxy's Edge and then go once Disneyland reopens this year and like grill the employees there about like characters, being like, "Where's Moff Fadar?" And they're like, "Dude, do you want the Coke or not?" I don't know the answer to your question. She's in the game. Like,
it's like, bro, I just came back to work after a year. Give me a break.
I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna
straight up for a year, man. Ease up.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
he's
go
up,
into
dude.
any door I want to, and then when security's like, "Excuse me, you can't go in here," be like, "I can in the VR game." VR,
I already know what's in
I've
there.
already been
Doesn't
back
matter.
there. Yeah,
That's cool. You can go backstage in the game.
I haven't played it. I don't know, Hubert. It's probably totally
Dude,
different.
if you can, Jones, that's really cool. Like getting access to the inaccessible.
It's true.
It's really cool.
That's
Well,
what.
obviously for so many people who can't go, like
That's the tagline of VR:
yeah,
getting access to the inaccessible
it's so cool.
for a lot of people. And now, a word from our sponsors. Unhappy with your smile? You don't have to be. Thousands of people have used Candid, the clear, comfortable, removable, and practically invisible aligners to help straighten their teeth. And now they love their smile, just like Justin M. from Atlanta, Georgia. Quote, "When I was younger, I used to have a gap on the front and on the side. I noticed that people would always look at my mouth first, so I was looking for a fix. Candid ended up being the perfect company for me. You can't stop me from smiling now. There is no comparison." The direct quote is something I don't get to do enough in these ad reads. I want direct quotes from people. I'm always just dropping my quotes. I have not used Candid. I've had braces 3 times in my life. Got the hard ones on, again, and then went not with Candid, with a different company. But oh my goodness, that tech has come a long way in that time. So Candid's here to help straighten your teeth so you can fall in love with your smile too. Your treatment is prescribed and closely monitored remotely by a licensed orthodontist who's an expert in tooth movements. This is excellent for this last lousy year that we have had. You have the same quality of care you'd get from an in-office orthodontist from the comfort and convenience of your own home. And while other companies use quote-unquote general dentists, Candid only works with orthodontists. With Candid, the same orthodontist who created your plan is with you from start to finish, so you never have to wonder how you're doing. And I gotta be honest, of all the times I would go to an orthodontist, I'd be like, do I need to be here? Is there something? Can I just like mail you something and then you can check it out? Like, so much of the conversation would be like about nothing that had to do with teeth. The average Candid treatment is about 6 months. You'll start seeing results way before then, and it costs thousands less than traditional braces. Become your best you. Start straightening your teeth today. Right now, you can save $75 on Candid Starter Kit. Go to candidco.com/easyallies and use the code EasyAllies. That's Candid, CANDID, co.com/easyallies. Code EasyAllies. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. Again, candidco.com/easyallies and use the code EasyAllies. With HelloFresh, I've eaten so much HelloFresh. I have so much HelloFresh in my tummy. I'm made of HelloFresh. You get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip to the grocery store and count on skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it is America's #1 meal kit. I have to tell you, Amanda's cooking skill was something introduced to me very early on in our relationship. I've been outclassed the entire time, and this has changed my household. Amanda's completely sold, and is so I can sense the comfort in her, where she's like, "Oh man, what are we having tonight? Oh, I know actually. It's this. It's literally this piece of paper. Done. I don't have to think about that." HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes or less. Try meals ready in 20 minutes or less, lightning prep recipes, and quick breakfasts and lunches perfect for your busy schedule. HelloFresh offers 25 plus recipes to choose from each week, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers and extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with all recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to HelloFresh.com/12allies and use code 12allies for 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/12allies and use that code 12allies for 12 free meals, including free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. And now, out of nowhere, curveball, Daniel Bloodworth. Boom! It's Bloodworth. Bam! In your face.
Yeah, I got another weird game. Have you heard about Beasts of Maravilla Island?
No.
No, neither had I until like this week.
Yeah, the problem with this segment, Blood, is whenever you ask that question, I have, because you've told me about the game.
Right.
We're gonna cover before.
But I mean, I
Before you
guess
said
the
it, no.
context is before
Right.
I introduced it in the notes.
That's the new segment name. Have you heard of this game before Blood told us this week?
That's also if the audience has heard about it. But yeah, so this is an interesting little game. I checked out. There's a demo on Steam. You can play for like an hour. It's basically Pokemon Snap, which is kind of funny because I kind of feel bad for the team because it's like, oh, you guys are finishing up your Pokemon Snap game like a month and a half after Pokemon Snap gets a sequel, and like like there's no way they knew when they started.
But Snap's got to be like 6 hours max, so you're hungry once you finish Snap. You need more.
Sure.
Whenever this game comes.
Yeah, I'm actually curious how long new Pokemon Snap is going to be.
Very curious.
It's pretty simple from the demo. I don't want to like say for sure because it feels like the demo's possibly just a tutorial. But at the same time, like some of the notes that were in the emails are like, okay, there's 3 zones, and I'm pretty sure I like filled out like most of that first zone. But yeah, you're a girl that's kind of like following in the footsteps of her grandfather, and you're like photographing these animals on this island that like people think is just like a myth or whatever, and you're going to just like share this discoveries with the world, and so there's like these bugs that look like gems, and there's like, butterflies, and there's like plants that like when you snap a photo of them, they react to the flash, and so like a beanstalk will grow or like a flower open up that you can use as a bridge, and you're like climbing around on like treetops and all of that. And then there were like these monkeys that were also like bird-like, so she was calling them binkies, but they had like a longer like proper name, and you had to like go around and like find them doing different behaviors. And
is her VO fun? Is it like contextual? Does she talk while you're going through and taking pictures of stuff, or?
She talks a little bit, but not really too much while you're taking pictures. But you do have a pretty complex like album setup to where like you can go through and replace like a main photo, but then you can have like a bunch of like backup photos, so you can try to get the best shot that you want.
She's got a journal, Huber, a sucker.
I love it.
A good progressive.
Did we ever do top 10?
Uncharted,
journals?
Red Dead
No.
2.
Life is Strange.
Oh yeah, just remembered that. Yeah, just worked
good.
on that for Mindful Games, so forgot.
Also, Jones, you can take like landscape photos that aren't really tied to like any of the animals, and you just find a spot that you like, and it'll go in the landscape section of the journal. You do have to have like the crosshairs like right on the thing for it to count. So like if you take a picture of like 3 different animals, and it's like you've got to like take each one separately. It doesn't like
that's
count all of them.
That's a head scratcher. How that works, how that coding works about like specifically what I'm looking at when you deal with stuff like Dead Rising and Fatal Frame, and they like evaluate the score of your picture. It's like, how the hell did you do that? It's tricky.
Worth noting though, speaking of coding, so this is the first game from a new team called Banana Bird Studios.
Love that name.
Recognize that? They're actually birds that look like the banana birds from Donkey Kong Country 3 flying around.
Oh, cool.
But they basically are recent graduates from our area, really. There's some USC and Cal State Fullerton and Art Center that they have this new team to put together. So it seems like it'll be pretty short and simple and to the point, but it's got some good vibes. I don't know a price yet, but you can get that demo now, and it's going to be on Steam, Switch, PS4, and Xbox.
Like these games having demos, Blood, that you bring. It's fun. I checked out the demo for Forgotten Fields, which we talked about before.
Demo's making a comeback, Jones.
Well, I mean, I also wonder too if it's the case of the last 12 months where they're just like, people are dying for this stuff. If we can be like, hey, yeah, it's playable, check it out. Because I imagine if there were events, they'd probably not have events that this development team went to over the last year. But I can imagine them like at a bar pitching this game to somebody and like, oh, sounds cool. And you take pictures of the monsters, cool. Can they fight? You're like, no, you just you just take pictures. They're like, oh, okay. They don't eat each other or anything. Like, nope. You just observe. But yeah, I love photography. We got that bike game where you're running around on the what is that called? They're on the bike. They're just like riding a bike into a city. And just like out in just really, really beautiful environments.
Right. It's in development.
And it's just it's like all we've seen is his first trailer. Like just
I know what you're talking about. But I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Sorry.
Japanese, right?
Oh,
season?
Man, I thought I had you, Blood, because you're always asking me stuff and I don't have the answer. And whenever I can do it back to you, I think it was Season or Seasons. I think, yeah. Damn.
What was on with the mail truck Remember that one a while back during the
yeah.
showcase? You were like a mail truck in like Pacific Northwest. Looked really cozy. Let us know in the comments because I need to remember so I can keep track of that game.
Mail truck game.
Yeah.
Truck game. Yeah.
Looked so fun.
Not on the podcast next week, Huber, so I'm going to have to send that to you in Slack.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I forgot that Amazon was making a Lord of the Rings MMO.
I didn't.
Yeah, I forgot because they already have one.
hopeful.
That's why I was confused.
They
I was
don't.
like, oh.
There is a Lord of the Rings MMO, but not them.
Right.
Not Amazon.
There's Lord of the Rings Online. Yeah, they are not responsible for that.
They're
Amazon
14 years old.
Amazon's working on that Lord of the Rings license. They also have the TV show that is in development.
For
but they are
$1 billion.
They are not going to make an MMO. According to Bloomberg, it was canceled. And there's lots of reasons why this is relevant. Obviously, Lord of the Rings is a huge franchise, but especially one that, like, a lot of weird things going on in Lord of the Rings. A Gollum game coming out, and this weird new show, and obviously Amazon, they like canceling games more than releasing them. But I want to start with Tencent. So the brief story behind this is that the project was announced in July of 2019. Amazon announced they were partnering with Athlon Games. Athlon is the publishing label at Leiyu Technologies, which we talked about on the podcast a couple months ago, because Tencent acquired Leiyu in 2020.
Of course.
And then Tencent and Amazon started to talk about how much this is going to cost, basically, and talk about the licensing and everything. And Amazon said they are, quote, unable to secure terms to proceed with this title at this time. We've talked about Tencent on this podcast before. Terms. I love that. Any way you can talk about money without saying the word money. Awesome. Terms. But we don't have a lot of examples, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure the comments will, of Tencent like actively getting in the way of something. Actively like coming in, buying a company and saying no, and being like, we're shutting this down. Something that hasn't even happened yet. Are you as scared or concerned about Tencent as you were before this happened? You seemed kind of tied to this, Brad. Were you excited about this MMO? Were you looking forward to this?
Yeah, man. One, I like MMOs. Two, I love Lord of the Rings stuff, so I was hopeful.
How you feel about
Lord of the Rings
Tencent?
Online was really fun. We played a little bit back
fun.
in the day. It was
It's still
really
online.
Yeah. Then obviously went free to play like years later, but I unfortunately, regrettably, just didn't stay with it like much after it originally launched all those years ago. But it reminds me of kind of like Elder Scrolls Online, where it just exists, and every time it gets mentioned, I'm always like, oh, that looks so good. And you just hear like the community rally behind it. Everyone that's playing it is having a damn good time and loves it. So it's cool to see that.
With Bethesda not having off topic. With Bethesda not having their press conference anymore, I'm going to miss my updates of Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Love
miss
those updates.
my Elder Scrolls Legends. My Kart Legends still rocking. Lord of the Rings Online made headlines this week, Huber.
Yeah.
A player reached the level cap, a hobbit reached the Lord of the Rings level cap, which I believe is 130, by mostly baking pies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
If you want to
That's
wonder
very Hobbit. Yeah.
Fantastic.
why a Lord of the Rings online game, a Lord of the Rings MMO potentially would be different from other MMOs, there is one answer. I don't know how prevalent hobbits would have been in this game because this was going to be based on the Second Age, just like the show.
Got it.
And obviously, Tencent being,
I didn't realize that's what the show was about. That's interesting.
right?
Yeah, Elijah Wood threw major shade. He's like, why is it called Lord of the Rings then?
Right?
Get wrecked.
Mm.
Yeah, Elijah Wood himself. It was so good. He's like, not to be a nerd or anything, but if it's the Second Age, why is it called Lord of the Rings? And they were just like,
because
yeah,
I think
money.
I mean, no, well that too, but because it's going to probably be about the Rings creations. A lot of the show will be.
There we go. Lore Master
I
Brad
think.
coming in.
But
We'd already played that game where the guy made the ring.
Celebrimbor!
Right, yeah. We've already done that story. I've already
have.
experienced that lore.
Dude, Celebrimbor or Zobek, Brad, most ridiculous
Zobek.
villains.
I don't know. Zobek's pretty ridiculous. It's just Captain Picard, as the villain. It's weird.
Yeah, hard for me Hard for me to just drop Patrick Stewart in a role and be like, that guy. I'm like, it's Patrick Stewart. It's
Gabriel.
Even Elder Scrolls 4 opening up and just like, I'm the king. I'm like, you're Patrick Stewart. Stop it. In June of 2019, Amazon laid off a bunch of people to focus on New World, Crucible, and this game. 2 of those 3 are not a thing anymore.
Yep, New World's their only one.
New World's still going. Not their only game, though. It is their only MMO right now. It's interesting, just especially like a relatively new development studio like Amazon Games taking on 2 MMOs is something that I didn't really
bad call
conceptually realize was
bad call.
Not going to work out. And apparently the Lord of the Rings team is being moved on to other projects. And it's funny to me that Amazon Games can say something like that, being like, just one of those other, you name them. All the other projects we got going on. It's like, you should say what those projects are because you only have a handful.
It's New World.
Probably. Why would I just say?
Because they were making an MMO. They're back on an MMO team.
Which is on track to release in August. Has been delayed several times. And Amazon opened a development studio in Montreal last month, and we talked about that on the podcast with Rainbow Six Siege staff. That is a multiplayer shooter. Presumably, probably not the game that the Lord of the Rings team is going to work on. So how do you feel about Lord of the Rings right now, Brad? Are you just kind of like, Blood didn't even know that this was based on Second Age. Are you just kind of waiting for these things to happen to like really dig into the story? It's like, sure, if you're going to make a Lord of the Rings thing, I'll watch it. But
that point in the story, there's so much room to like put in your own stuff kind of thing. So there's not much for me to really dig too deep into because they're being very coy about a lot of things. So I'm just waiting.
Yeah, waiting because when it comes out, every single human is going to watch it. There's going to be spoiler modes. It's just going to be nonstop. So I'm like preparing myself. I don't want to get burnt out before it's even here.
Joe, if anything, I'm just more nervous because I hope it doesn't suck. That's what I'm the most afraid of.
It's going to look pretty, hopefully. I mean, with $1 billion budget.
Yeah.
It's going to look good.
I just kind of... I tend to assume that it's probably gonna suck, and then if it doesn't, I'm surprised.
That's fair.
Let's all collectively here at the Easy Allies podcast assume it's gonna suck, and then we'll see.
Who's the showrunner is the most important question. Let's see.
Blood, were you gonna play this MMO?
Patrick McKay.
Not likely, but I didn't really know anything about it. They haven't shown like any kind of screenshots or anything, right?
Yeah.
It is a good time. Yeah, it was clear. Again, they were in the terms phase. But I think
brand new showrunner for Lord of the Rings.
Oh my!
$1 billion franchise. Someone with one uncredited Star Trek Beyond credit is the main showrunner. It's pretty wild.
Okay, that's crazy.
High stakes.
Yeah, very high.
It depends though, because like Peter Jackson, like if you were like into film, you knew who he was, but otherwise nobody had a clue.
He had made critically acclaimed material before Lord of the Rings. He wasn't a no-namer.
And
it wasn't like a blockbuster stuff. He wasn't like a household name. It's like getting involved in Lord of the Rings and the pre-production stuff is when most people were hearing about him.
Sure.
Huber, you know the writer that I know that's working on this, right?
No.
And the credits that they have? Other shows that you might have been?
Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
No.
Yeah.
Although I do know somebody who wrote it for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. Is currently writing on the one with Martin Sheen, who has the son. He's a serial killer, and his son's a detective. And
Prodigy?
Prodigy.
The Prodigal Son? Yeah.
The Zuckerman sisters. That's what they're working on now. Jen Hutchison worked on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Wrote I Am the One Who Knocks. The one who wrote that line of dialogue is working on Lord of the Rings. Which is fun because
the most epic lines of all time.
She was always like, "Oh, working on this," and then just radio silence for like 2 years now, just like, what are you working on? What's work like today at that studio? I wonder if they were involved or like emotionally invested whatsoever in this game, or whether they're collaborating or. So do we think, just dialing back before we move on to Tencent, do we think this is something Tencent's not afraid to do? Is this just like a weird fluke, or is Tencent going to start making more creative moves than we've seen them do in the past in terms of like, no, this whole project not happening? What terms did they want?
I don't know, man.
You don't see them fucking each other over for a goddamn percentage, John.
It's true. All right,
I think they
Tencent.
did screw each other
I
over
think
that.
yeah, maybe
trucking.
it's such a big thing that they just wanted too much of it. Like Amazon's like, no, we're not going to give you that much of the stake of this for what sounds like in some degree is the supporting team, where they have their leads at Amazon. But yeah, it's hard to say.
Crazy to something I will never understand as much as we talk about this business, to look at that price tag, to be Tencent, to come in to look at that amount of money that you are guaranteed to make releasing a Lord of the Rings project and being like, nope, more. It's like, how do you do that math? That's so crazy to come and buy this company. Look what they're making. We're going to Lord of the Rings MMO. Cool. Let's go get it. Oh, we wanted the decimal point to be over there. You're all fired. Get out of here. You're all working on New World. Hubert, we got NPDs.
Yes.
March 2021. I don't know, man. Kind of getting a little tired, It's been 12 months. This is it, March to March. This was the pandemic. Some of these stats are talking about 12-month ending period of this. What are the top games of the last 12 months? Essentially, what is the NPD of the pandemic? Not just
Animal
March.
Crossing.
What? Oh,
Number one?
of was the top games?
Yeah.
No. What
Call of
game?
Duty.
What game? I didn't even finish my sentence.
Call of Duty's
Grand
always
Theft Auto,
the safe bet.
GTA, Call of Duty, FIFA, Mario Kart.
We are going to get full Animal Crossing 1-year numbers soon, though, because
Well, there we
Nintendo
go.
has an earnings report coming up.
Oh, so generous, Nintendo.
Yeah, I'll have nice things to say about the Switch, but yeah. And I got the top 20 games here. But shout out, of course, as always, to Matt Piscatella, Executive Director and Video Game Industry Advisor at the NPD Group, dropping all of his knowledge on us.
Yeah.
But I just like a parrot, man. Every month, just repeat over and over again. Spending reached a March record, $5.6 billion, 18% higher than last year. But that is somewhat significant because we were kind of getting into the pandemic at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see April and May. Like, are those going to
April
beat
is
the
like
other ones?
the
Because
heart of
those
it.
were records. We are still breaking records, 18% higher than last year. Q1 spending the last 3 months totaled $14.9 billion, 30% higher than Q1 2020. Not surprising, we got new consoles and all that stuff now. More people are owning these consoles. Year-to-date hardware spending totaled $1.4 billion, 81% more than March of 2020.
Yeah.
People, when able...
The consoles are more expensive this
Right.
year than they were last year.
True. This is a very good point. It's all those Oculus Quest 2s, man. Buying them all. Switch wins
Do
again.
they count that? Do they count the Quest 2 in this?
I don't believe so. No, I don't think it.
I don't think so.
Switch wins again. Switch sold the most units in Q1. PlayStation made the most money. That's basically how it goes now. Switch will get most of their consoles out the door, but PlayStation's having the laughing all the way to the bank. Snooze. PlayStation 5 is now the fastest selling console in U.S. history in units and dollars.
Huber is excited about
We
this
got Huber
when this
here.
got
I
announced.
got to bring the NPDs, but it's
I'm
just
not really. It doesn't excite me, but I think it's interesting that it's the fastest ever, yet all the optics have been doom and gloom for
Right.
so many months. There's been so much doom and gloom of like, PS5s are malfunctioning. I had to send my DualSense controller in.
Yeah.
Backwards
Ben had to send his old
compatibility,
thing in, yeah.
PlayStation Store, like
not being able to
Game
get
Pass
them,
on
yeah.
Xbox, all like the terrible optics.
Right.
Number one, fastest of all time.
But it reminds me of,
that-
though, like, I remember, people being like, and Nintendo definitely, like, obviously Mario 3D All-Star shows that Nintendo definitely does intentional scarcity at times. But I remember when people are accusing them of that with the Wii, and I'm like, have you seen how many Wiis have sold? Like, they can't make them any faster. Like, it's just how it is.
Because there's people out there who don't own a PlayStation 5 that have tried desperately to buy it. That I just seriously pissed off at that statement. PlayStation 5 is now the fastest selling console. Like, great. It would have been even faster. I would have just been contributing to their increased success. But we touched on it. So people in the comments thought we should have talked about it more. But just the whole Last of Us remake, Ben Studio reorganizing
That
Days
too.
Gone 2. There's a Kickstarter. Or not a Kickstarter. There's a petition now that tens of thousands of people have signed. Like, we want Days Gone 2.
yeah.
All the people at Bend are not shy about being like, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Get out there and scream.
Oh, yeah.
Hell
We got
yeah.
the Vita store back online. Scream louder.
I read today, Brandon, that only 30,000 copies of Cyberpunk were refunded. You see that headline?
Through their program.
Through their
that
program.
doesn't count like
Okay.
GameStop and,
Cool.
and a lot of these other things that they
Right.
could have gone through.
People
I
just
think
throwing
it's
them out
just-
the window.
I think it's just another interesting thing of like, did it even matter, the bad press? It still sold so many damn copies
Sure.
despite, like, when that launched, it was just like, oh my god, this game is broken, stay away. Like, a PC a little different, but still, like, broken, don't play this. And it's like, so many sales! Did
Right.
it even matter?
Well, they took
Well,
it off the
they
store.
definitely did not.
Stores,
They-
so you couldn't even buy it.
Yeah, they definitely did not have that kind of attitude. And that earnings statement today, they were very much like, yeah, we've learned a hard lesson here, and we're going to adapt our studio culture, and we're going to adapt how we announce things, and we're going to make sure that, you know, the things that we show off, you know, match all the different platforms, however they're going to do that. Maybe, like, remember the Metal Gear Solid 5 side-by-side things that Kojima did? Like, maybe they do something like that in the future.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But yeah, they were, you know, in that investors meeting, they were pretty, like, you know,
Embarrassed.
yeah, it kind of felt like that. Although I did
Well, they
hear
just get
somebody
roasted
say,
too with those things. Like,
I did hear somebody say that somebody asked about the Stadia sales, and the reaction was just like laughter. So I don't know what the actual percentage of Stadia sales are, but that's funny.
people at CD Projekt are doing shots whenever someone says Stadia.
Holy shit, man.
But yeah, Hubert, like last year, I mean, in this gen, when we do Gen that was in 8 years,
Yeah.
we're gonna mention Cyberpunk and be like, oh yeah, Cyberpunk. I mean, it's this legendary fail. It's the biggest year in the history of the company. So you're like,
see,
what is even
yeah.
real? So
What is it? Everything is a lie, dude. Like, I
Amazon
don't even
Studios closes one game and opens another studio. You're like, what are you doing? It's weird. It's weird.
It's so weird. And then you just have masterpieces that sell nothing. Movies that
Sure.
go under the radar. Video
Well, that,
games
yeah.
that just don't sell. It's just...
Specifically in film, that makes perfect sense to me. Whenever I see like,
Yeah.
the best movies of the year are never the ones that top the box office. But some things do make sense. Some things do make us feel better. Monster Hunter Rise, after 1 month, is now the second in lifetime franchise sales.
Oh, wow.
No way it's going to beat World, ever. But that makes sense. That World comes out, everyone's jumping in, everyone's loving this franchise now. Exclusive on Switch still. Number 2.
Jones, I'm very excited for the Village numbers. I think it's going to be a record for Resident
The
Evil.
biggest Resident Evil
Yep,
ever, maybe.
I think it is,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really think it is.
I mean, it's such a
Yep.
marquee May release too,
Could see
It's
it
like-
happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really one of the big things to talk about next month, but a shocking statement coming from you, Huber.
I feel like the records are always meant to be broken. More gamers now than there've ever been. More
Yeah.
accessibility and ease of
Yeah.
access than ever. So, never surprises me, really.
But yes, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, 1 March, Q1,
Of course.
and the last 12-month period ending in March. So,
Yep.
yep. Outriders was number 3.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive considering it was
Yeah,
also
it
on Game
is.
Pass, yeah.
It is true. It is also impressive that it was number 3 on Xbox and number 3 on PlayStation. So it's interesting that its inclusion in Game Pass.
People
talking
still
about-
bought it.
I want to talk about Game Pass. Joseph Crusoe asked something on Patreon
I
that I'll
love
get to in a
talking about
second.
Game Pass.
But just-
it's NPD Game Pass. Straight up. I love it. Regale us, Jones.
This is the time code for you, listeners, Huber fans. Well, just the idea of like something coming to Game Pass benefiting PlayStation and not just MLB, but something coming where, especially online service game, where it's like in that weird way to sell that with people being like, okay, here's the play. We'll get on Game Pass, so people just check out our game because it's free, or we'll get on PlayStation Plus, and then people will check it out. They'll want it. People on other consoles are hearing about it because word of mouth is good. And Outriders had an extremely rocky launch, but from a technical perspective. But at the same time, I get a sense that people are enjoying it. There's a lot of love out there for the game. So it's interesting. It just really
Yeah.
seems like Game Pass rose all the boats with this.
Yeah,
If it
that's
was equal on both
unexpected.
consoles.
I didn't expect that, Jones. Do you think it has to do with it being a loot type game? So people want to
Sure.
own it? They want the ownership rather than renting it? Because to me, Game Pass is still you're renting it, basically.
But it's not like a full-on live service game, right? Like once you get done with it, you're pretty done.
Yeah.
They're not going to add on a bunch of stuff to this game.
Nothing really announced, but there is kind of a the end game has its own ending, yeah. But
the impression I got from playing it seemed like they're gonna do more.
it seems like it, but nothing's
Seems like it.
Because they pushed back against that idea about it being a live service game.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the demo changed a lot of minds. I think that had a big difference there.
Yeah.
But it's still very interesting to see that it did that well while being on Game Pass. And I've been hearing that a lot of the times that being on Game Pass just gets more copies of the game sold. It's a very, very interesting phenomenon, whether it's from people that like you're saying, want to make sure they own the game even if they get rid of Game Pass at some point down the road, or whether it's just something about it being there gives it more exposure so that people tell their friends, or like this is like, hey, I want you to, play this with me. And it's like, well, I don't want to get Game Pass, but I'll buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Every time I go around the corner of my desk and walk past my Series X, it's like, Outriders, you own it. I'm like, I can't stop. I can't. I'm positive I would be addicted to that game. I can't. Joseph Caruso's got an alternate take. I hope this doesn't come across as a cynical observation, but based on my recent experience with PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games Pass, I now assume that most third-party titles launching on those platforms are titles in which Sony or Microsoft does not have much faith that it would sell on their own. While there are obvious exceptions of great third-party titles launching on these platforms in the past, I feel like many recent titles, such as The Medium, Destruction All-Stars, now make me less excited for a new third-party game when it's announced to be launching on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. Alternatively, the fact that a title like Returnal is not included in PlayStation Plus indicates that it might be worth my time and money. Do you think public perception of a game is significantly affected by it being essentially free? Essentially underlined there.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Is there a perception issue?
I think there probably would have been more criticism of this game if it weren't.
Outriders?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be as big. I mean, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think that's the weird thing, and I think it's being multiplayer kind of ties into that a little bit more, right? Because again, it's you have it, but they don't have Game Pass, and so you kind of rope your friends into it, especially if you like it. If you're enjoying it, it's like, hey, play this with me.
Yeah. Weird. I see where this question's coming from, and weirdly, like...
Destruction All-Stars is definitely a bit flat.
Yeah. Like
the Medium I liked, but I know a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I think coming to Game Pass or Plus day one is kind of a weird, like, you would never see... Well, shit. I stopped myself. I was going to say Halo, right?
A lot of, yeah,
but
Isn't Halo going to be Game Pass?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
well.
Every Xbox first-party game.
Well, it's like something like a Fall Guys rises in status to be on PlayStation Plus, but something like a Halo maybe drops, to be that accessible compared to. I think it is
pretty close to the whole Yakuza series is on Game Pass now.
I don't think it's as black and white. I think it's like you got to follow the development and use that info to like, because of Destruction All-Stars history originally being a $70 game and then it being like us, like Game Pass, that seemed like more of a move of like, ooh, our game might not be worth it. Whereas Outriders, even though it was delayed a lot, it still felt like a partnership power move, So it didn't really make me think less of Outriders.
With Outriders, what I remember seeing that game before it came out was everyone was talking shit on that game.
Yeah.
Oh, of
So when
course.
they announced it on Game Pass, I had the thought in my mind, I'm like, maybe they made a deal with Microsoft because they're worried about, maybe Square's worried about this game after Avengers. Something like that.
Good call.
I think so.
Yeah, I think if you have a game like Avengers, if you have a game like Outriders, like it doesn't matter what state it's in, you just need to have as many people as playing it as possible. You just have to get a massive amount of people. You're going to lose a lot of them because that's life, but I just think you have to it's got to be busy. You just got to, have a lot of heads in there. And for better or worse, testing your systems, making sure all your stuff works. You might be surprised. What is number 4 on the top 20?
Mario Kart?
NPD.
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart is close, dude. It's
Mario
not
Kart.
4. but it is
GTA
close.
5?
I'll give you a hint. You cannot buy it. If you're like, oh, number 4 looks cool, let's go pick it up.
Oh, Mario 3D All Stars.
Mario
Right?
Super Mario 3D World. Number 4, previously number 1. Miles Morales, number 5.
Oh wait,
feels good.
3D World
Wait,
or 3D
World
All
or
Stars?
All-
Those are very
yeah,
different
you
Oh
mean
games.
All
no,
Stars, right?
3D All Stars was number 9. 3D
that's-
World
oh,
was
3D
number 4.
World you can buy.
Yeah,
you can't buy All
3D
Stars,
World.
which is number 9.
Plus
Sorry.
Bowser's Fury.
Correct. Yes. Miles Morales at number 5 feels good. Mario Kart. Oh, thank goodness. Number 6. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hubert, talking about things not having meaning anymore. If Mario Kart slipped out of this list, I wouldn't know
I'd
what
be
to do with
alarmed.
myself.
I mean, if it slips out, they're gonna be like, "Yo, what we do wrong? We gotta, we're failing as a company."
Greenlight the sequel,
Yeah.
finally.
Dude, the thing I think is probably happening is behind the scenes, Nintendo is just building Mario Kart 9, and like every month that Mario Kart 8 stays in the top 10, it's like, all right, add another track.
Yeah. Seriously.
Just keep adding tracks, and as long as Mario Kart 8 keeps selling, just delay
Blood
it.
that.
What an unusual
Yeah.
development Mario Kart 9 is going to be the largest video game ever created. in
It's gonna be
history
the
of
Smash
world.
Ultimate of
Yeah.
Mario Kart, dude. It's gonna have everything and new characters like Captain Falcon.
Could you?
Dude.
Because like they've always had, well, not always, but for the past few games they've had like sort of half and half, old tracks, new tracks.
Yeah.
All of
Just
them.
imagine if
Every track.
Just call
every
it
track.
Ultimate. Mario
Yeah.
Kart
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Pull an Ultimate.
Yeah. Or Super Smash Bros. Karting.
Will that be the most unexpected game announcement of all time? An actual sequel to Mario Kart 9. Watch it bombs. Just totally tanks. Nobody cares anymore.
There's like 0%
No
chance
chance.
that could ever
Right.
happen.
Animal
it
Crossing.
was it was actually declared the best-selling racing game, right? Wasn't that one of the little tidbits?
I saw Piscatella. I couldn't tell if that was something, if he was just repeating, like, the best-selling racing game, or if that just attained that status. That's what I would consider it. If somebody asked me that question on the street, I'd be like, obviously, Mario Kart 8. Which doesn't make sense. Never will. I'll still, my deathbed, I'll be like, why? I understand why it sold a lot, but why did it beat Valhalla? I don't understand. And the only other thing, obviously, is Switch games all over the place, but worth noting, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, jumped from 65 to 15 because it's now on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
Because you can get it on Switch now. So.
But they have.
Oh,
don't
right.
they have like PS5 version 2 now or something like that, or Xbox?
Yeah, they had a next-gen
They have
version.
new versions. Yeah, that probably helped a little.
I'm sure. Also this week, Call of Duty Warzone's Verdansk map got nuked, which is a good thing. That was supposed to happen.
Oh, yeah, we're
that's
going back in time now.
That's
Yeah,
the
they went to
Fortnite
1984.
move. Yeah.
Oh.
You excited about that? You said that a little negatively, Huber. Are you?
I haven't played Warzone that much in a while. Cool, though. That seems like a cool shakeup. I was intrigued. I was like, oh.
It's
that's
fun to be
pretty-
scrolling down news and see a picture of
Yeah.
a large explosion and being like, nice.
yeah.
IO Interactive opened a third studio in Barcelona to work on a third game.
Good stuff.
That's
License
it. Yeah.
or not?
We will see.
Sequel or new IP? How about Freedom Fighters?
Extremely OK Games, developer of Celeste, announced their next game. It's called Earthblade. Don't have a ton of details, but that is the
Yeah, they put like a key art, some poster out there.
definitely a team to watch. Microsoft is no longer in talks to buy Discord. Discord's getting ready for to do an IPO. Blood wanted to take this out, but I'm not letting them take my Rockstar news. So a ton of Rockstar games, Huber, were suddenly on Steam. Suddenly, just Grand Theft Auto 1, Grand Theft Auto 2, Midnight Club 2, all these Rockstar games.
Midnight Club 2?
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Why did nobody tell me?
It's gone. It was gone for.
It was in
it's up for
Slack.
seconds.
I didn't read it.
Ah!
No, it's by the time I posted in Slack, gone. So
Damn
this
it.
was a mistake. It was a listing error, which you can. I imagine what that looks like from Rockstar's perspective. What games are available? What boxes they could just click, and somebody must have hit like publish all or something, and it just yes. If there's any Rockstar
The
game that's ever been on
floodgates.
Steam, go get it. And then we're like, wait, whoops, and pulled Midnight Club 2. but some people haven't. Some people out there are like,
Dude,
Oh, really?
sick.
you know.
I
Weird.
might still have the hard copy.
I don't know if they still have
but
access
damn
to it, but yeah, the PC version of that has long been difficult to get a hold of. And when the dust cleared and they were like, okay, anything that we didn't mean to have up there is up there now. Okay. So people checked the fine print, and now all of the DLC for Max Payne 3 and LA Noire is just included. If you just buy those games on Steam, it comes with all of the bonus stuff. I don't know if that's another mistake that they're going to retcon, but Rockstar had a weird week on Steam. Photos.
Max Payne, Jones. Are we going to see it again one day?
I hope so.
That's what I wanted to hear.
It was funny. My left brain and right brain were battling because I was super uninterested in the story of Max Payne 3 and enjoyed every minute of it. You know,
Yes.
that was
100% yes.
That was a fun game. That game felt very good to play. Set photos were revealed from the set of Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Set photos, dude.
Yeah, and I've heard when I saw this headline on a couple of outlets, they said spoilers. So I'm not going to say what.
Yeah, set
what
photos
happened.
are inherently spoilers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the set photos.
right. This image just jumped out of Twitter at me, so
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of
It's
people.
not surprising.
Right. It's just stuff going on in that sequel that looks like.
I
fun.
hope.
But
it's Knuckles.
this isn't the video of Mario and Sonic dancing at the birthday party, right?
No, that's a great video though.
Okay.
Is it?
It's
Yes
a
or
good-
no? Just tell me.
good
Just
addition.
spoil me. Spoil me right now. Is it?
Sonic movie spoilers right now. For
Is
two.
it? Yes or no?
But silence, super. Both great Ace Attorney games. You confirmed it was a spoiler, and now you're asking me?
No
Here, I'll
comment.
just tell you on. I'll just tell you on Slack, dude.
I'm beeping you, bro. You got beeped.
Good.
Both great Ace Attorney games are coming to the U.S. in a game called Chronicles. I didn't even know these games existed. Granted,
didn't
I've
either.
never played any Ace Attorney games, but the aesthetic
Herlock
of this game looks
Sholmes.
awesome. Yeah, the crew looks great. Tales of
It's the
Arise.
ancestor of Phoenix Wright.
That would have been my guess. Tales of Arise is launching on September 10th, coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X, which was previously
Nice.
unannounced.
Yay!
That trailer looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Looks
like a leap up for that series.
Totally.
Samurai Gun 2, an Ian Hink favorite. Samurai Gun 1 was. Samurai Gun 2 was announced in 2018. It is coming to Steam Early Access this summer and then Switch later on. Square Enix had to deal with rumors that they were getting bought. And they were like, no. But that was fun.
Right.
I love hearing that somebody squashes rumors, and I never heard of the rumor in the first place. Path of Exile gave streamers early access, but then those streamers couldn't play it. They had a 2-hour
Yeah,
early window.
I saw this.
Oh.
And then all of them were waiting in a queue, so they basically just took all that money and threw it out the window. That's very fun.
Yep.
Wait,
which
no,
is a
I don't
bummer.
think that. I don't think that's how. No, I don't think that's quite how it was down. They basically they had paid them to stream for 2 hours.
Correct.
But there were queues going on. And so they were basically throwing money out the window because the whole 2 hours they would just be sitting in the queue.
Right. People paid,
So
they paid
then
streamers to
they-
stream it. People watched those streamers, and the streamers weren't playing it. Basically.
Well, but no. They gave them the ability to jump the line. And then everyone was getting mad because the streamers are able to jump the line that they have to
Priority,
sit in.
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I thought that was inherent in the contract when they bought. I didn't know they added that later.
Yeah, and so they're like, okay, we're not going to do that again. We're not going to have them jump the line in the future.
And not only
Because
just for
everyone
that
got really
dev.
upset.
Other devs, publishers, take note. That didn't work out well. That's rolling the dice there, I think, with bringing in streamers in that way, because sometimes that works very, very well. Apex, that was like the whole Apex launch, right?
Yeah.
It was and we were like all skeptical, like, look at all these people being paid
I
to play
mean,
this game.
streamers
And then-
always get priority now on like things like betas and stuff like that.
Steak fries.
Burning Crusade was like that, the beta for it.
I don't know how this happens, man. Nintendo filed a complaint against the leader of the hacking group Team Executor named Gary Bowser.
Yeah. Really ironic.
How's that happen?
How does
we
that
got,
happen?
We got Bowser's hacking. We got Bowser's... Oh, and I wanted to mention this earlier because we were talking about Doug Bowser not doing as many things as Reggie Fils-Aimé. Where is my Bowser and Bowser podcast? Like, where is... When they do announcement, where is Bowser, like, trying to edge in? Like, "Roar," and Bowser's
Yeah.
like, no, Bowser, you get back there.
Embrace it.
Right.
Nah, he's not-
Embrace it.
not
Be
willing. Feels
that
bad.
I mean, the-
face.
The character Bowser, I don't think I'd want to listen to him on a podcast.
He doesn't talk
That'd be
very much.
really
would.
difficult.
I'd,
That's the thing. He just kind of grunts
listen
and... Yeah.
for a couple times. No, he talks at Sunshine.
Yeah.
Full on dialogue, baby.
Hey, Mario.
Bandai Namco is closing its Santa Clara office. Staff can work from home until April 2022, but then they're going to have to go someplace else. Nobody knows where they're going to be relocating to. Or what
So there's talks
studios.
that they might come down to LA, Orange County. But yeah, so basically they're going to try to relocate people, but they're saying they're not going to be able to like remote work full time once the new office is established, or after April 2022.
Cracking down. The honeymoon's over, folks. All that fun we've had over the last year working from home, sadly, going to see it end. Mario Kart Tour, that's the Mario Kart mobile game. It's made 200 mil so far. It's not Galaxy of Heroes numbers, but they're trying. Over 5 free-to-play games on Xbox now no longer require a live gold subscription. I believe Fortnite is one of those. So if you buy an Xbox and play Fortnite, get in there. You don't have to pay for the internet. Battlefield Mobile announced, developed by Industrial Toys. No gameplay yet. Call of Duty Mobile's worked out extremely well. So
they were also teasing the real big Battlefield. Yep.
This year, dude, unexpected. So unexpected. It was not even on my radar for a 2021 release. I was like, dude, that'll be 2022. Had no clue. So when that info dropped, I was like, blown away, shocked, completely shocked.
Hasn't it been a couple years since the last one?
Yeah, but the last time we saw it, it was like such a short teaser. It was like this is a prototype, like laying the groundwork. This game is far away vibe. So I'm still surprised it's going to be 2021.
Hold it. Huber, hold that energy.
Yeah. Just
bottle it right now.
It's bottled, dude. I love Battlefield.
Firewalk Studios revealed a publishing partnership with Sony Interactive Entertainment for a AAA multiplayer game. No idea what that's going to be. Apex Legends also coming to mobile. It will not feature crossplay with consoles. Unfortunately, it's going to be its own thing, its own ecosystem. And the Epic Game Store added a bunch of apps. I believe Spotify was the only app previously on the Epic Game Store. One of these apps is Itch.io, itch.io, and is not taking a percentage. So you can go in and buy games that are on Itch.io through the Epic Game Store, but Epic's not taking a slice of that, which is decidedly un-Epic. And I'm proud of them. That sounds nice. You ready, Huber? You holding on to it?
I'm ready.
It is time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
From Michael Rebelato, EA has just put out a press release saying that a new Battlefield 2021 reveal is coming soon. The game will be for next gen and PC. I know Huber and Brad are pretty big Battlefield fans. Looking back at the last gen, BF has done some really interesting things, many of which were loathed by fans, whereas other things were adored. What do you think DICE and EA will reveal in this upcoming Battlefield 2021 announcement, and what do you personally anticipate? P.S. BF1 and BF5 are great games, and BF5 gets way more crap than it deserved. People should give it a try now that EA Play is accessible through Game Pass. Also, this just came out right before the podcast, but a bunch of EA games are getting FPS boosts on the Xbox there.
Divisive games. I think Battlefield 3 set such a high bar, like visually. It was just such a visual showcase, like Levolution and all that. That was kind of like this huge moment for the franchise, and Battlefield 4 felt like capitalizing on that, and then they took the route with 1, which was a risk. I loved the risk of Battlefield 1. I thought it was a huge risk, just going all the way back to World War I, like different type of weaponry, just a different feel of play. And just between that and Battlefield, what's the newest one?
5?
5? Yeah, 5. We're on 5?
BFV?
Yeah. BFV. The V always confuses me, yeah. Between that and 5, they just seem divisive, you know? There was never a universal love. There were always problems here and there with different sets of the community, like time to kill, you know, how long it takes to kill someone in a Battlefield is always up for debate. Like, you know, you have your hardcore modes, but like even in the regular modes, there's just this give and take, this push and pull of who are we 100% designing this game for. It felt like they were kind of trying to cater to all sides. And for me, just with Battlefield 5, it was just a lack of maps. Took so long. The Battle Royale felt really half-baked and responsive to the market trends. So 5 just never had an identity of its own for me. It was like supposed to be this big return to World War II, and it just felt, it just didn't have the magic. Just didn't have that magic. So
if you're Battlefield, are you like at a fork in the road and one side is follow trends and the other side is, like take a risk? Like what?
yeah, like do you even mess around with a battle royale for Battlefield? I mean, it just seems like the perfect franchise for it.
The post talks a lot about like changing things. They're like, we're going to take it to places it's never been before.
Yeah.
We're
I think
reinventing
they have pressure
Battlefield
to make it. Well, maybe I wonder if they don't as much anymore because of Apex, because that's EA also. I wonder if they're just like, we'll just let Apex handle it for us at EA.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's EA, so who knows?
I don't
It's
know.
EA, man. If EA's got a brand that ain't doing everything it possibly can, that's a stain.
That's true, Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. Battlefield 5, I was like following along for a very long time with that game, just with the community, just checking Reddit, checking all the forums and everything, and it was just like one step forward, two steps back. It always felt like with Battlefield 5.
You seem to be ready to accept whatever they do, Huber.
Yeah, I want big. Let's go big.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't do what Call of Duty is doing. You are Battlefield, not Call of Duty. Like, you don't need a battle royale, but embrace what you are. Let's have 300 player battles. 150 on 150, planes, tanks, automobiles. Let's go.
Wasn't Battlefield 3 the building falling over with all the people on the stage?
Yeah, that was the peak. That was like, holy shit, Battlefield
that was one of the best
arrived.
multiplayer debuts I've ever seen in my entire life. There was something about it was like when the lights went up and everyone was on stage, you were like, I don't care what they show. Just looking at them
building coming down. Yeah.
It was pretty out of control. And I've always like when we saw the Xbox, at the Microsoft Theater Blood, where they had all the stadium set up when Devil May Cry, got announced, and the Devil May Cry logo pops up on all of the screens. I was like, are they going to be playing on stage on all of those? It's like, no, those are for people getting in line tomorrow. I'm like, oh, come on, what a tease! Got all those monitors on stage.
Yeah.
Now we get like Gears of War camera shots going under the stage to show like 4 wrestlers. I'm like, what? What is the It just doesn't. I'm with you, Huber. I want that the grandeur.
Yeah, and I think huge warfare is, if I were the brand manager of Battlefield, that's what I would lean into. I would say, yo, they're all doing battle royales over there, but we're doing MAG. We're doing a massive action game, man. Like, let's go.
It sounds like it. They're talking about everything getting bigger, so yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of games doing that, at least shooters.
Exactly. Yeah, Brad, what would you want from a Battlefield, dude? You're my tank commander in arms.
I mean, that's more fun to me. That sounds more fun to me. I just love the chaos of Battlefield, you know?
Yeah.
I want them, dude, I'm tired of, you're spawning in like an airplane in the air already. Yeah. I miss when everything was like in place on the ground still.
Totally.
So you would like load up in the plane with players actually like going in, doing the process with them. There's so much more of a connection instead of just spawning in a plane already. Like there's something way more appealing about actually like taking off or something like that adds to it that I really miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Battlefront 1 and 2 both do that, Brad. Where you're flying, like. Yeah, like, that would be really fun to see, like the guys from Star Wars,
getting in the X-wing. Yeah. You lose something.
Wouldn't you just like constantly bomb the hangar bay? Like if you were a plane, maybe you can't get over there, or I wonder.
Then we
Star
got
Wars,
anti-air, dude. That'll take you down. Defending.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Sure. Yeah.
I think I would double it. So instead of 64, I would do 128. 64 versus 64. Yeah.
Just like that.
Isn't that what MAG was?
Dude, MAG was like...
I think that was 128.
Well, if they had to take a performance hit, not a performance hit, a visual hit, if it wasn't necessarily the showpiece that a lot of people were expecting it to be, to attain that size, would you accept it?
256 for MAG, dude.
Okay, 128 per team. Got it.
Whoa.
Huber, one thing that really excites me about Battlefield, I guess, is just even more emphasis on destruction and the environment playing a role. Like that
has to.
Like some of the coolest moments in Battlefield is like when you're in a building, like shit's blowing up around you. like a tank. You see a tank shoot down like in a building with people, and it's like one of the coolest things and the most unique things about those games.
Yes, Brad. And coming from World War I and World War II, that stuff was reduced, and we got those like Saving Private Ryan moments, of course, where a sniper in a bell tower, like take the bell tower out, or like minimal destruction, like you were saying, you're in a building and it collapses. But if we take that and up the play count, and we have like 200 or 300 people on the map, and having these like mini battles in buildings that can then be destroyed, like, whew, sounds like a balancing development nightmare, but
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
mind is racing.
Yeah, that was when I played at E3 the demo EA Play. The demo of BF5. That was like, because you think about destruction and it's like I'm in the building or the building's right in front of me, and like I really dug seeing something get toppled like a mile away. You know, just like looking over in the corner and seeing a tank just drive right through a building and the roof just kind of lands on the tank and then falls off. Like, it's cool, yeah. But
I also think they should just, unless they're doing like another Bad Company or something, just abandon a campaign. The campaigns have been so
Yeah. Just
boring. They've been lifeless. They've been so
hopefully that's
lifeless.
something-
They even got Michael K. Williams for like Battlefield 4, was it? And it was just like, no.
Yeah, hopefully that's something that they have learned from Apex, is they don't need to do that.
Yeah, true. Or have story on your multiplayer maps and go that route like everyone's
Right.
doing now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You don't need to have a campaign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was the Battlefield celebrity stage quote? Like psyched. What was
Jazzed.
it?
Jazzed.
This is Zac Efron.
You sound pretty jazzed
pretty jazzed.
for the possibilities of the next Battlefield. Fingers crossed. Hubert, I'm hoping for you.
Yeah, dude, there's probably going to be if that comes out 2021, there's got to be a beta coming up. September, October, let's go. Draft your tweets.
From Daniel Levsley, I have a game for you, although I'm not very good at coming up with names. With that in mind, I bring you Kart Racer or Kart Faker. It's not bad. Over the years, there have been many licensed kart racing games from some big and unlikely franchises. Below are 20 licensed kart racing games. Some are real, some are fake. Can the Allies spot the faker from the racers? Are you ready?
Yes.
Bloodworth on here. Ben 10 Galactic Racing.
Real.
Sounds real to me, man.
That's real.
They
Yeah,
all
it sounds real.
I gotta let you know. That one was real. DS, 3DS, Wii, Xbox 360, PS3, and Vita. A lot of people rushing out to buy Ben 10 Galactic Racing on the PlayStation 3. Wild Thornberries Wild Ride! Exclamation point.
Fake.
Fake.
And it sounds real to me.
It's fake, but look what you got below us. You got that you and I aren't in touch with that Nickelodeon community.
Right.
Whereas I definitely get that vibe from Hubert. But you talk about Nick cartoons a lot, Brad. I think you have
I like the
pretty
old
extensive
ones,
history.
from
Yeah.
when we were kids.
Well,
yeah.
did they get racing games?
I
this
didn't like
game's
that
for you.
show, so.
Toy Story Racer.
Toy Story Racer.
Toy Story Racer.
Fake.
Toy Story Racer.
I have faith in so many of these. I'm going to go real.
I'll say fake.
If you want to take Toy Story characters and have them race together, I have a game for you. But Toy Story Racer was also real, GBC and PS1.
Oh.
Yeah. Disney Infinity also lets you race with the characters. Digimon Racing. Digimon Racing.
I don't think so.
Digimon Racing? Fake.
Digimon
Fake.
Racing.
Fake.
Digimon Racing. Game Boy Advance, baby.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But Ugly Martians, Zoom or Doom. I don't know why this is included in the list, but it's fun. But
Fake.
Ugly Martians, Zoom or Doom.
I have never heard of any of this, which only makes me think it's real.
Yeah. I'll say fake, though.
Huber?
Fake.
No, that's real. PlayStation 2 and GameCube. How do you make that up?
But Ugly Martians? Is that what it's called?
But Ugly Martians, Zoom
Is that
or
a
Doom.
franchise outside of this
So
game?
weird.
Whew, yeah. You know, But Ugly Martians. 3, 2, 1, Smurf!
That's gotta be fake.
Exclamation point.
That one's fake.
Please be fake.
Please be fake.
PlayStation 1, baby!
Oh,
What the
Oh!
hell, man.
Smurfs suck, dude.
M&M's kart racing. Not Eminem, the musical artist.
This is
candy.
fake.
Oh, this is real.
M&M the candy. M&M's kart racing. Oh, Blood's on that
It's
one.
real?
Okay, Blood. I'll go with Blood then.
Wii and DS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blood, you have experience? You remember that? Was that
I've
in the
seen this
library?
box art. Yep.
He's seen the box art.
I think this is one of those games that like they never tell any press about, but you just like walk into Best Buy and there it is.
Rugrats Racing. Rugrats Racing.
I'm pretty sure. Unless it's like a different name that they're playing with us, but I'm pretty sure Rugrats has a racer.
Yeah, sure.
Nah. Wait, you're thinking of Nintendo had a kart racer. 2 of them, I think.
No.
Oh,
So you
right.
might have seen Angelica riding.
I was thinking of a Reptar thing.
Nickelodeon, you mean?
but she wasn't, or Nickelodeon. Sorry, what did I say?
Nintendo.
Nintendo doesn't make kart racers. What are you talking about? Batman Gotham City Racer.
Fake.
I don't think so.
Hubert, I am extremely disappointed in you.
That's real.
Oh yeah, but I own.
Is it a DS game?
I own
Wow.
it. PS1, dude. Own it. Played the hell out of that.
PS1.
Gotham City Racer.
Gotham Racer.
Everything just has a
Gotham
racer.
Racer.
That's hardcore,
The
Jones.
PS1 they sure as
Out of
heck
my
did.
wheelhouse, man.
Madagascar Karts. Madagascar
Yeah.
Karts. Lamenting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes to everything at this point.
It's
Gotham
not bad
City
strategy.
Racer.
DS, Wii, Xbox 360, and PS3. That Madagascar Karts. Inspector Gadget Racing.
They're all
I think
fake.
I remember this.
Yes.
GBA, just like Digimon Racing.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember
Exclusive
you
to the
played the
GBA.
shit out of this game, Jones. Mm-hmm. This Gotham City Racer. I remember
Oh
this.
yeah, baby. James Bond Racing, a license to thrill.
No.
Fake.
Nah.
You think you'd remember that? Yeah, that never happened. Although, what? I mean, I guess that's the problem with his
Why
cars. They're
not
all
at this
licensed.
point?
You don't just go to the James Bond company and get those cars. Like they're all BMWs and Aston Martins, and you have to go to different companies. Barney and Friends, The Big Race.
Fake.
I have no idea.
Fake?
I'll go fake.
It's fake.
Yeah.
It's fake. SpongeBob's Boating Bash.
Fake.
You were not feeling
That
it.
sounds
I think
real.
I remember
Fake.
SpongeBob.
I don't remember this, but yeah. Fake.
That was on the Wii and the DS.
Oh.
Ah!
Crazy Frog Racer. I can't tell if Crazy Frog is a franchise. Do we know about Crazy Frog?
Crazy
Frog
Frog
is
sounds
that-
vaguely familiar, yeah.
Real.
Real.
PS2 and PC. That Crazy Frog Racer.
I knew it.
Asterix and the Chariot Race for all you
Fake.
Asterix lovers
I actually do think that's real.
that are now tuned in to the Easy Allies podcast.
Real.
Do you, Bloodworth?
Sounds like a Wii
Yeah.
game.
It's not.
It's not.
It's a book.
Oh, it's a book.
But he can't tell if Daniel's an actual Asterix
of
fan or if
course.
Daniel's like, gotta work Asterix in here somewhere. Hello Kitty Cruisers with a K.
This one's
Yeah.
real.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, smart guy. What can I buy that on?
Mobile.
Hello Kitty Cruisers.
It's a mobile game.
Wii's
On the
always
Wii
the
U.
answer.
Switch and
Oh.
iOS. It is most true. It is on mobile. It's not exclusively a mobile game, but yeah. Woody Woodpecker Racing.
Fake.
I actually think that's real.
Woody got
That
his own
sounds
kart racer.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real because who the hell would have
Tell me-
known to
tell me
make
it's
a
Wii,
fake
Jones.
game of Woody Woodpecker?
Give me.
Tell
you
me
were-
it's Wii.
GBC, PS1, and PC. That was before.
Damn
before
it.
its time. Hubert, give me a franchise to put on this list that didn't get a kart racer that you think might have.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil Racers.
You know I didn't.
One that Ratchet and Clank never got one because Jack did.
Ratchet Racer. Ratchet and Clank. Oh,
Because Jack
what a
X
great
Combat
racing game
Racing.
that could be. What an amazing.
The power-ups would be awesome.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank would be a sick racer for sure.
Ants Extreme Racing. Ants with a Z. The Woody Allen
what?
film. Ants.
No.
Oh, this has got to be fake.
I think it might have.
PC, Xbox, PS2, and GBA.
What?
Oh my God.
What are they even racing?
Who's?
It's that's later than I thought it would be, though. I will
Who's Woody
say.
Allen's friend? Woody Allen's character he had a buddy.
Sylvester Stallone, right?
Sylvester Stallone. Good call.
I would have thought
Finally-
that would have been like a gen earlier or something for some reason.
The Flintstones Bedrock Racers.
Fake.
If this is real, this is a Game Boy game.
I think it's
I'll say
probably
yes.
fake.
Real.
I want it to be real.
It is real.
PlayStation
Wow.
2. But fun.
Oh,
Daniel Levesley made this one up and then looked it up and it was real.
That's
So he
hilarious.
made up a bunch of them and that one he was like, oh, whoop, I got caught.
So, I feel like kart racers were the battle royales of their time. Let's make a kart racer. Let's
Oh,
do it.
dude. Yeah.
Spit that out.
Our
We got
own
a
brand,
franchise?
or we got to get a new franchise. And
The
Mortal Kombat. Kart.
Got one.
Where
was
is
it
there
in a game? Yeah, in one of the
there's
Mortal
one in the
Kombats.
game.
I
There's
think
like a
so.
bonus game.
It's
of
not
it.
on its
Yeah.
own. It's in
Oh, they should have had a standalone.
because the cart with the K. I mean, Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat, Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat cart. It writes itself.
Oh.
Would love a sequel to that game. Thank you for that. From Danny Betkowski with Resident Evil right around the corner. I'm wondering what the Allies look for in replay value and what specifically rings so true with Resident Evil for you. Personally, I've never played an RE game because that shock and scare would be diminished on additional playthroughs. I've never replayed a Resident Evil game because that shock and scare would be diminished on additional playthroughs. And of course, my backlog. So yeah, what is it? I mean, I could go on for hours, but I'm just curious.
I mean,
What
What is it about Resident Evil? It makes you want to play it again.
I mean, I just love the atmosphere and the world. I love being inside of those video games. That's why I replay games. And when I replay them too, it's like you rewatch a movie, and sure, some of that like initial scare is gone, but you can also see it with a new perspective. I've been going through the entire franchise now, picking up the weirdest details about like the state of the Earth, not just about our survivors, but like the state of bioweapons on the Earth and different countries. Like you see new things. And then obviously like Damiani, I don't want to speak for him, but he loves mastering it, Once you get to a Resident Evil game, it's like, okay, now I know the routes. Right. Now I can like turn the tables on my enemies. So just like speed running, obviously. I mean, this is one of the biggest franchises for speed running. Jones, I know you're obsessed with New Game Plus, just getting stronger. Brad, I know you're obsessed with unlockables.
Well, it's like that door. It's just like, imagine there's a door. You open up the door and something comes out of a closet. New Game Plus, kick open the door like immediately. Like I know it's there. Yeah. It feels so good. And also, it's interesting because I could, on paper I could see like, you have a horror game, you play it again, it's not as scary, but it's all about just dominating that game, and just not being afraid of those things.
One last thing about replaying though is like, there's no way, I'm looking you in the eyes, commenter, there's no way you remember everything. It's like when people say they've never replayed Last of Us 1, tell me beat for beat everything you do in Last of Us 1 and tell me like it won't be as good a second time through. Like chances are you'll get to a set piece and you'll be like, dude, I forgot all about this. Whoa. Like so many little moments you forget. So like I'm playing through 7 right now and it feels new again. Madhouse difficulty, dude. Random item placement. It is new again. So love that. Yeah, you master it. Like Resident Evil 4 is so fun to replay because like you just get confident. And that confidence like makes it feel different.
Now there's dual wielding and RE4 VR. How am I not going to play that 5 times? You go through again and now you have just 2 pistols that are super powered and just going up against bosses.
Yeah, the insane stuff they give you after you beat one of those games too. It's like it is like daring you to not go back. It's like you gotta see what this weapon.
You have to play it at least 2 or 3 times all the way through to unlock whatever restrictions they have on the rocket launcher. And then once you unlock the rocket launcher, how do you not play that game all the way through?
Seriously, Jones. Yeah, and Remake 3 always gets criticized for being so short, but it is arguably the most fun initially to replay because you keep unlocking the difficulties. You have the coins and things you can buy. Bringing all those weapons into subsequent playthroughs, so fun, so cool. I do get that though. I 100%. It's like it's this argument. It's not even an argument. It's more of a taste thing. Binging versus not binging. Replaying games versus not replaying games. I don't think you're going to change anyone's mind, but I really see both sides of that. People just don't like one or the other, and that's live how you want to live.
From Andrew Reynolds, how do you feel about where to start in video game sequels with Resident Evil's 8th entry and Halo's 6th entry of the main line? It seems harder and harder for newcomers to the series to know where to start. Have you ever had a good experience starting in the middle of a series and going back, or is it always best to start from the start as they came out?
If it's standalone, I have no problem. I did that with Persona 4. Had no issues. Jumped right in. Any Persona game I'm in. But if it is an ongoing story like Resident Evil or something, I gotta start at the beginning.
I can't think of a time where I'd really hop in midway through if a story is important.
Yeah, Brad, like I haven't finished Gears 5, so I didn't play 6 is out.
Oh.
No, 5 is the newest.
5 is I had to go back to finish 4 before 5. Right. That's right.
I mean, you've got Halo 4 where like even if you've played everything you just still lost, but
Solid burn. Good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think most games you don't need to.
You just played Ease 9, which you said in the review.
Yeah, like I mean, Ease 9 is a great game to jump into. I don't know if the whole series is that way or if Ease 9 is just particularly suitable for newcomers. But it had enough in there to reference the past so that like, I'm interested in going back to older games, but not so much like I ever felt lost. But something like Yakuza, I can totally see the value of like, okay, start at 0, work your way up through the whole thing.
Chronological, yeah. Not even order of release. Chronological, I think, is the way to do Yakuza for sure. That's an interesting case.
But I don't think there's a lot of games like that, and I also don't think like you have to do that for Yakuza. I think that there's plenty of people that have jumped into that midway through and then gone back and caught up on other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I would never in my life tell anyone not to start with Metal Gear Solid. I guess, Metal Gear, though, is also canon, so do you start on that one? See, I kind of broke my own
I think if you
rule
just
there.
played Solid, though,
dig up the MSX.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
For, like, the majority.
Yeah.
Majority of things revolve around Solid.
Really good example here, Brad. You and I were caught up for The Witcher 3, which, to me, enhanced my playthrough for sure, because I had experience with Geralt. I had already...
Right.
Before minute 1, I was already attached to this character. I had stakes. I had a bond. But if you were to hop right into The Witcher 3, no problem. I would be like, dude, hop right in.
Well, I think the reason why, Huber, I think what's important is that as a writer, make it clear when you're referencing the past. And that's what Witcher 3 always did. Like, I always knew when I didn't know. I always was like, okay, when like an old girlfriend would show up, I'd be like, right. Like, I have no reference on this previous relationship, And granted, they let you make decisions and there's stuff that they'll tell you in the prologues and stuff like that. But like, if it's ever really clear, Amanda's watching Angel right now, the Buffy spinoff for context, for a show she's doing. And I've seen all of Buffy, but I haven't seen any of Angel. And it was always funny when I was watching through Buffy and they would have an episode where like it would start with Buffy and Angel coming in and Angel would be like, that was nuts. Anyway, bye. And I'd be like, oh, I clearly just missed a thing, like some crossover. But like it was so obvious that I missed it that I'm not like, I got to dig up this Angel episode.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. I know what I don't know what I missed, but I know where it was.
The Daylight Ring, Jones, is that what it was? Aren't they, like,
I
fighting
just
over a
said
ring?
I have no idea.
I thought I would trigger your syndrome.
Daylight Ring. Well, again, I didn't. It was all done on Angel because they wanted people to jump ship. They didn't have a problem getting Angel people to watch Buffy. They wanted the Buffy people to watch Angel. So it was always all the secret stuff you were missing always happened in L.A.
Extended cut.
Yeah, you'd think the vampire in L.A. solving crimes and stuff. Didn't care. Not even to this day. David Boreanaz, not a good actor. Handsome gent.
Going back to The Witcher, one thing that's interesting is just based on where your experience is, like you can have very different reactions to the relationships and particularly like the romantic choices because
the books, right, Blood?
Right, because if you read the books, then it's like, well, Yennefer is like the obvious choice. Like, why would it not be Yennefer? Like, it's just that's the canon choice, right? But if you've only played the games, then Triss is who you've had a connection with.
Yeah, it was tough for me to pick Yennefer, but the way Geralt was reacting and like the way the lore was dropping, it was like, oh, amnesia, history, got it, cool, canon, picking that.
Yeah, but it's interesting too to like go back with the perspective of like how those first two games came about, because it's like 3 feels like like they were the most confident. Like, okay, now we're actually really going to continue the story. We're actually really going to like tie the threads into the books. Whereas like 1. You go back and look at that story and you know more, and it's like it's weird. It's real weird.
Blood, dude.
It does not feel canon at all.
Just the thinking of the Last Wish quest and then watching the Netflix series was really, really cool. Taking that lore and knowledge into the show and just like, wow, guys, I'd be so confused, but I'm like following along here. Okay, it's cool.
It's time for bets. Next week's bet, Genshin Impact launches on PlayStation 5 on April 28th. During next week's podcast, I want to know how many people will be watching the first trending broadcast in the game's description on the PlayStation 5. For those of you who have not messed around with PlayStation 5's UI because you do not have the console or are not familiar with this, you're on the game, you click down on the D-pad, I believe 3 times. You first go to all of the badges, and then the news, and then there's a bunch of trending broadcasts. It labels on these broadcasts who is playing on YouTube and who is playing on Twitch. I was curious what these numbers would be. I went to check on Fortnite, and the top trending stream had 57 people watching, which I think that is very shy of probably the most watched trending stream of Fortnite at the time. So I have no idea how they're pooling all of this information. But just to give you a mindset of what those numbers could be, the top trending broadcast, on the PlayStation 5 for Fortnite had around 50. Michael Huber, what's your bet? What's that number going to be? 85. Whoa. Okay.
85.
Okay. Brad.
12.
12. Nice. Bloodworth.
19.
Be all over the place. Ooh, not that far away from Bloodworth. 24.
High and low.
High and
Got
low.
the high and low.
Yep,
Take
yep,
it.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I just feel like, okay, I think there's 2 things that kind of cement this to me in term. It's like, number one, like Brandon said, just feels freaking random.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they're pulling these things. And number 2, I'm pretty sure the only thing that counts is people broadcasting from their PlayStation 5 and what like real streamers do in that.
Right.
So.
Oh, you just oof.
Ooh.
Fake
real.
streamers,
What
dude.
real streamers are doing that?
Professional
You
streamer.
just ended,
Somebody
like,
that's
8
not doing it
careers,
just
Blood.
for a hobby, you know.
Right. Brutal.
Shot.
Last week's bet, MLB The Show 21 launched on Xbox Series X on April 20th.
Oh, God, I'm excited for the answer of this bet, Jones. I'm sorry. I'm so excited.
All right, here we go. Where is it? Yeah, Blood almost spoiled it before we
Yes.
recorded this podcast. But thankfully, see the excitement? Look at Huber right now. That excitement
Yeah.
would have been gone if Huber
Because
had known where it was going to
yeah.
be.
This could have gone either way, Jones, because the whole Game Pass weird thing.
It's a good bet.
Yeah, this is a fun bet.
What I want to know is where is it now on the Xbox Series X top paid games list, which we're not from Symbiote Controller 46 on Patreon said the top paid games list. Oh, sorry, on YouTube said the top paid games list on Xbox gets updated weekly around Tuesday and is not something like Amazon's bestseller lists. But I do know that
Outriders
it's
being
there.
3.
Blood's eyes did light up when he saw it there. There's MLB. Where is it, though? We want to know. Michael Huber bet 5. Michael Damiani bet 7. Bloodworth bet 20. And I bet 4.
What did we get? Any guesses from Brad? Always here.
Oh, sure. Brad, where's it at?
10.
Okay.
Okay. It's in the top spot. It's number 1.
Whoa.
Number 1.
The Xbox
number one.
One standard version. The Series X is a lot further down. Let me see.
Uh-oh. That could be
And
another
they
win. How much
said
further
baseball's a dying sport.
Maybe compared to like Madden numbers and FIFA.
So the
compared to the
Xbox
NFL.
Series X is like 21.
Well,
Well,
NBA.
I mean,
21.
that's just because none of us nailed it on the head. If it was in 4th place and 20th place, that would be 2 points for us because we nailed it. But it's closer. Both of those are closer to Bloodworth and myself. Was tricky, though. I don't know. Who should get the win here? I bet 4, and it's in the 1 slot. You bet 20, and it's in the 21st slot. You said it's around there? Who gets the win here?
Oh,
Sharon?
but no, we're
It's
only
number
going
one
to go with
overall.
one version. It's going to be the higher.
It's number 1 overall,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, well, then that's a Jones win.
We wouldn't count all the
Jonesy win.
different versions separately.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I know, Brad. Bringing our scores
There it
to
is.
Jovial Penguins 9.
I forgot that was us for a second.
That was you. Vociferous Beavers 9.
Nom 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 nom.
That's right.
Tie game.
That's right. Yeah. One of the greatest comebacks in the history of the Easy Allies podcast.
Yeah, shit.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/Easy Allies. We're competitive here. We have bets. You know, we go at each other's throats. We have conflicting opinions about what Insomniac games are the best, but we're all here to produce amazing content. We're able to do that because of our Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Easy Allies, you will learn a lot more about the Easy Allies. There are 8 of us. We all produce very crazy shows. We have the Fast and Loose podcast, which is hosted by Ian Hank, which is very fun because we keep it very gaming centric here on the Easy Allies podcast most of the time. Anything is possible on the Fast and Loose, but even the release date of when the podcast comes out, that was just made, it was just released a couple days ago. So Shout out to Ian for producing that wonderful show. And if you want to learn about that and be more involved in the shows that we produce, we just had Love and Respect, and we have our segment at the beginning. You heard responses from a lot of people who knew what topics we were going to be talking about, most likely, and they wanted to jump in with their opinions. So thank you to everybody that is submitting stuff at that website, patreon.com/easyallies. A shout out to the people at our very top tier on patreon.com/easyallies, the shout out tier. Blood, you're going first. I'm going after you. Huber, you're third. Brad, you are wrapping it up. Shout out to Alex AI, Caleb Togi Crawford, Edsger So I'm a Spider So What, Elthanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Nick, Sage Mode Q, and Stephen Thomason.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Well, shout out. Me. Why I get to end this podcast. I get to promote any Easy Allies video I'd like to promote. I get the final word on anything I've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into my head. And I get to sign off with my trademark sign off. I'm going to promote Mindful Games. I got one episode left. If you have early access on Patreon, you already have access to the next episode. It's Animal Crossing. It's the shortest episode. I don't know if it was mindfulness I've already written enough about, but it's only about 5.5 minutes. But I geared the show to be short. No episode is longer than 8.5, I think, is the longest episode. So these are short things. Talk about mindfulness in games. The last episode to go live is Life is Strange. You can also see a companion piece an hour after every episode goes live. I'm actually going to be late. I'm actually busy next Wednesday morning, so we got to reschedule that. I'll give you the updated time. Daniel Bloodworth, but for my final stream, my Animal Crossing stream. But that final episode will go up. But if you want to check out the series, 5 episodes, but the last one was Life is Strange. Got some Life is Strange fans reached out to me on social media, and they said they were happy about that one. So, but it is games, mindfulness, lots of things I'm passionate about. Definitely got to scroll back. I'm not buying it, Sony. I'm not buying this. We didn't know people were going to be upset about this. You wanted to see how many people would rush to the store to buy PlayStation 3 games. You can get the get out of jail free card for this one, but stop it. Enough with the jostling consumers around to check stuff. Do your research, do your homework, find out how pissed people are going to be before you make these stupid announcements. I'm not 3 podcasts in a row. I had to talk about this dumb thing that never actually happened. Meanwhile, PSP owners are all pissed because they're like, we actually got our stores canceled. Stop it. Cheers.
$60, dude. 4 hours. Cool movie, bro.
It's like, bro, I just came back to work after a year. Give me a break.